Good evening, everyone. We are back.
Is it just gonna be there we are?
We've got another. I mean, this is just coincidence how these keep lining up, but we've got yet another preview game week. We are going to be playing Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Rita's Rewind. We've got some of the developers from Digital Eclipse with us. Am I right in thinking this comes out? Is it Tuesday? Is it Tuesday this comes out?
It does. It does come out officially on Tuesday.
Okay.
Yes.
No word on a physical yet. Can't say anything.
Yeah, we're focused on digital. I think Dan can echo this too, but we definitely would love to do a physical. We're just focused on the digital right now, and then let's get that out there in a good state. And obviously, with the studio and our love for physical media, we're going to do our darndest to try to sort of make that happen if we can. But it's hard to think about that until the digital version is out and at a good point and everything like that. So
excellent, yeah. So congrats on getting this to the finish line. And why don't y'all tell us who you are, what your role at Digital Eclipse is, and what your role on this game is for the people at home.
Right. I guess I'll start. My name is Stephen Frost. I am the head of production at Digital Eclipse, so I help manage all the projects that are going on at Digital Eclipse. But on this case, I was the producer on it as well, and just trying to help steer a very talented team of individuals, and keep the train moving on the tracks in the right direction, if you will. To get us to sort of the finish line. But I was very lucky to work with a great group of folks, very talented folks, who also love this, not only this kind of gameplay, but this era of games in general and what we were trying to sort of replicate. So it was a lot of fun. And I'll hand it over to Dan.
Actually, my name is also Stephen Frost, in a complete coincidence. My name is Dan Amrich. I joined Digital Eclipse about 2 years ago, coming up on my second anniversary. And I am a content editor, so I work with Chris Kohler. Chris Kohler is our editorial director. He's the guy for like research and vision and sort of for our interactive documentary series, the Gold Master series. He's really sort of one of the prime architects of how those unfold and what stories they tell. So I help with those, and on Rita's specifically, I had the honor to be able to write the dialogue, the in-game cinematic dialogue. The stuff that when you're playing a beat 'em up, you just hit the action button to get
No one's skipping that. No one's skipping that.
That's my stuff. Yeah. I was very. I had never done that kind of writing before, but I got to do a deep dive into the source material. Really sweat trying to make the characters sound like they would. Like you could hear the original actors in your head. That was my goal, was like, would this character say that? Would you be able to hear this character saying that if you know the show really well? And if you don't know the show really well, then hopefully it's still just silly fun.
Nice. So I've also got here with me in person, Drummond Lynn to my left and right. Not on camera, but I swear, look, there's a little bit of a hand. There's another hand. I swear I have real friends who are really here playing video games with me.
And they're from Canada.
Yeah, they're from Canada. No. Yeah, they came all the way here for this. No, they came 12 minutes. We will be doing some local co-op, as you ought to do for a brawler. So let's get into it. It's going to be. Oops, I went to bonus modes. By the way, while we're in the options menu here, we're not going to have them on just because it doesn't look good for streams.
He always does this. He always goes.
Oh yeah, no, it's fair. It's fair.
Well, when people do it right, I have to let people know that we got. This is the default. Actually, defaults to this. It defaults to CRT1. You've got CRT2. CRT1 has a little bit of curvature. CRT2 doesn't.
Yes.
You've got
CRT2 is for me because basically everyone always tries to do CRT accurately with the curvature on it, and I like the CRT and the scan lines, but without the curvature, and so I always force my team members to include an option for me like that.
Yeah, I mean this is similar to what you would have on like if you were pre-scaling it with the RetroTink 4K. So.
Right.
720p. I'm not in. Is that meant to be like a HD CRT? I'm not quite sure what this one is supposed to be. But it looks nice.
I thought 720p was They're for Switch gamers.
Oh, it's
'cause
optimized
it looks
for
really
Switch.
good if you're playing on Switch handheld.
That makes
That
sense. That makes
720p
sense. So
filter.
you've got like a Switch optimized, but we're on PS5, by the way.
Yeah, we
yeah,
always.
all the filters are available everywhere though.
Yeah, the Switch
Ooh.
players always get kind of screwed out with their scan lines on the 720 screen. So.
Yeah, but just for stream purposes, we're going to keep the scan lines off.
Oh,
so-
I didn't see the telescope. It's almost like
The telescope is ridiculous.
It's just
It's
it's a
a
fun
little
thing.
wild.
Look at, I love this, like the zooming with the sprites and everything.
Yeah, there's a lot of like really cool.
Wait a second. So, wait,
sprite
Drum,
scaling
do
in this
you?
game.
No, it's not me.
Oh, really? Why am I
You gotta
playing?
hit X to jump in.
I think because you hit the main menu button.
Oh.
Oh, well,
So there was
can
a
back
this
out.
super
Okay,
chat from
well,
our good friend
I don't think I can
Enchilada
back
Backloggery,
can.
who says, "Ahoy, ladies and gentlemen! Thank you for streaming this game. I've been interested in. Question for the devs: What was the inspiration for making this game? It feels kind of like a passion project.
wait.
Yeah,
Oh, wait.
did you
How
guys?
do
Oh,
Here we
we-
go.
you just need to press the button on it on the joystick to get in, or you can get in when you're in the game. You might have to press like A on the. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
I think you
yeah,
got it.
yeah.
Yeah. You gotta wake up the controller and make
Oh,
it
can
aware
we?
that it's there. First.
Can we do the tutorial from here? Or do we need to back? Oh, okay. Yeah, here it is. Here we go.
It depends if you've gone through it already.
Oh,
Like
you
it's
need to-
only
you need to
asked you the option. Oh, there you go. Okay, so you're fine. You're fine.
Yeah.
Sorry. So the inspiration for this. Well, I mean, it's a tough one from the standpoint that, like, from our studio perspective, I think we live. We grew up, especially in the
three
heyday of
times.
the arcades
Oh.
and the 16-bit, 8-bit era. Some of us are even older than that and grew up in the early days of Atari and things like that. No names. But I think we've always been enamored with that era because, as I like to say, there's no smoke and mirrors back then. The gameplay really
So you
had to
face
deliver
the face
on
away.
the experience, and if you got bored or lost interest, you just quickly moved on because there weren't super expensive cutscenes or anything like that to kind of hide the gameplay. And so it's like almost like the pure essence of gaming to a degree. And we love that sort of loop of gameplay of just getting people to jump in there, being able to understand something and play it, and then kind of learn more and get better and improve, as you would expect. And when we were talking to Hasbro early on, and we talked to a lot of different companies all the time about stuff like, what are you guys working on? What are things that you would love to work on in the future, and what IPs are available? And when we started discussing them early, Power Rangers kind of came up in a conversation as far as like, hey, it's been a while since there's been a Power Rangers game, and it'd be great if we could do something like that. And this was obviously in leading up to where the Netflix special was going to come out too, because they were working on that. So there was sort of this resurgence of Power Rangers there at Hasbro and at Netflix, and there was also a new series that was debuting that year as well. And so it was kind of a big kind of time for Power Rangers again, at least in recent history. And we kind of thought back, and you think about that heyday again of the arcade games, so many IPs got arcade games, like everything from Simpsons and Turtles and Aliens, and every sort of major franchise got an arcade style experience. But Power Rangers kind of got left by the wayside a bit, even though it was a huge phenomenon back then, right? Gigantic. It was on covers of everything, and so many toys and so much merchandising, but yet no arcade game, shockingly. And so we kind of wanted to right that wrong a bit and started mulling it over internally. Like, what will we do if we did a Power Rangers game, and how would we differentiate it from the stuff that's sort of been done in recent history and things like that? And obviously, with the teamwork dynamic and the whole large number of players available, a brawler kind of made sense from the get-go. But we didn't just want to do a brawler. We wanted to kind of take advantage again of like what was some of the tech and gameplay stuff that was going on back then. And obviously, we have a lot of love for Sega games, especially those early Sega games, the Space Harriers and the Outruns and things like that. And loved what they kind of did before True 3D had even shown up at the arcades. Mm-hmm. And so we kind of put the two and two together and said like, hey, you know what? What if we could combine sort of the brawler kind of gameplay, which everyone knows and loves and very easy to get into, but also try to include a variety of other gameplay to make this feel a little bit different, right? And so, and Hasbro were really on board on that. We didn't know quite exactly what we were going to do at that point, right? Because it was early, but Hasbro understood the passion that we had, knew that we wanted to do something beyond just a brawler. And I think that really clicked. And, since then, they've been great partners. I've said this many times. One of the greatest partners I've ever worked with as far as a licensing group, as far as listening to what we wanted to say to them and what we wanted to do, and not only trusting us, but allowing us to kind of steer a little bit the Power Rangers train and where it's kind of going in some ways, on the interactive front at least. But, I don't think that we could have gotten to this point without having a partner in the form of Hasbro that was just so understanding and very kind of like, hey, we know you guys, we trust you guys, do what you have to do and do this. And that's sort of where that whole impetus and start of this kind of project came from.
So I noticed actually when you boot up the game, I think that what was the term? I think it was Hasbro Retro Arcade was the logo. It was something like that. Yeah. So is this the first game with that label?
Out recently too, right?
Yeah, it's a relatively new level. I think G.I. Joe was under that as well. These are probably the first two. I don't know if there was another game. There might be a third one that's a smaller scope title that was under that as well. But yeah, it is very much their sub-brand as far as their sort of easy to pick up, fun arcade kind of experiences, and we're happy to kind of be one of the first folks who are under that label for them.
How long was this? When did you start on this? Like, how long was it in development?
What year are we in? 2020. So in 2023 we started on this.
Okay.
And it was it was a little bit slow to start because we were figuring out what it was and what we want to do and the art style. I think the biggest thing was figuring out what the art style was. So before we even really got gameplay going, it was all about like, what does this look like? And and how far do we take it? How modern do we keep it, or how kind of old school do we want to keep it? And we would mess around with gameplay, which are now, I actually stumbled upon one of the movies. It's just blobs. The characters are just blobs, sprite blobs, right? It's for moves and things like that to see how it feels. But yeah, it started work in 2020. Where are we? We're 2024. So 2023. I'm losing track of the years here. We're almost in 2025. So yeah, into 2023 we kind of started. So I'd say really development-wise, it's probably about a year and a half or so. I'd say year and a half as far as full development.
And the genre's kind of had a little bit of a resurgence in recent years, like Streets of Rage 4, and then of course Shredder's Revenge and stuff. So
I think
it seemed like a perfect time to release this.
Yeah, I think a lot of people kind of, when they first saw this, they're like, "Oh, is Tribute Games doing this or something?" Like, you guys have. I think that's high praise. Like, considering that Digital Eclipse has mostly been known for like kind of reviving existing games, but like you guys have, I think, really been starting to make a name for yourself in like original retro productions like this as well.
It's funny because if you owned a Game Boy or a Game Boy Advance, you probably played a Digital Eclipse title and didn't realize it. Digital Eclipse has been around since the early 90s in one form or another. And like I'm just, because I'm a nerd, I'm a big Kim Possible fan, and I booted up the Kim Possible game and saw our logo there, and I was like, oh my god! And that was an original game based on somebody else's IP. So it is funny. It's kind of cyclical because for many years we were mostly a studio that was known for either arcade emulation or doing titles based on other people's IP. So then we've been focused more on that Gold Master series, our interactive documentaries, and things like Atari 50 and Karateka, the making of Karateka, and Tetris Forever, which just came out a couple of months ago. And so people think of us in that context of, oh, you guys are sort of reviving old games or putting new context behind them. And so this must be new for you to do a game based on an IP. And we're like, no, this is actually just flexing some very old muscles that some of the same people have.
Digital Eclipse is like very much reinvented themselves so many times over the years. Like, I think, some people
we're still here.
Yeah. I mean, it's all like so much of it is like, retro inspired, but I mean, it's
absolutely,
you keep like reinventing yourselves in newer and much better ways, like continuously.
Yeah.
I mean,
that
respect for classic gaming and the desire to want to make classic gaming as accessible as possible is really core to everything that we do. And if you even look through the previous stuff, the Mega Man Legends, Street Fighter 30th anniversary, SNK 40th anniversary, previous, even recent stuff before that too. Midway Arcade Treasures for PS2. A lot of people still bring that up as one of their favorite collections of all time. Yeah, we're definitely like we're in that classic lane, right? Like depending on how you look at it.
I will say that what people might not know or weren't exposed to is that sort of the precursor to this is the Space Jam game that we did during the pandemic. And
I saw that on Moby Games.
So actually, myself and two of the engineers who worked on this game, Power Rangers, also worked on Space Jam. And Space Jam was an interesting one because it's a free game. You can actually go, if you're on Xbox, it's an Xbox exclusive, but it's free for anyone to download if you want to check it out. But it was an interesting experiment because we kind of partnered with LeBron on this where we didn't know what kind of game we were going to make. So it was a contest. And so basically, a bunch of people entered on this website, and randomly a child's suggestion was added with an adult suggestion, and then we were presented the two suggestions, and we had to generate a game out of it.
Maybe we have to break it.
Really? So we didn't even know until the last minute what exactly game we were going to make. We just took their options, and then we had to come up with a game idea.
It was like a game jam in a kind of way.
Yeah, it was. And we had to make the game over the span of I think 3 months. I think we had to do it.
Okay.
And it was fun. It was really cool, but you can see some of the DNA elements in Space Jam that kind of led to this in our sort of most recent experience.
The players are finding out that Rita's Rewind is not just the name of the game, it's also a mechanic.
What I love about that rewind is that it actually rewinds like what really happened. And it's like it's kind of taking the rewind features that's like in like your emulated collections and like representing like that technology here.
Yes, exactly. This was an interesting one because we had thought about it, and before this was added to the game, Rita's Rewind was more about the story and her kind of trying to mix things up. But then we just had that epiphany of like, what if there is a gameplay mechanic? And we went through a lot of permutations of how we do that and what we should do, and eventually landed on sort of a device that Rita could do these crystals that impacted time, and that's the whole underlying theme of the game. But hopefully, we tried to not show this for a long time because I wanted to sort of surprise people. So I hope when people play it and they see it, they're like, "What is this?" It's kind of a unique kind of experience
during the summer games thing.
No,
or was it earlier than that?
No, even later. No, later because we didn't show it then. We showed it.
I think we showed it publicly for the first time about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, 3 weeks. Yeah.
Like we really, there's still some surprises in there, but the whole time we're if people like what they're seeing now, they're like looking through the keyhole and seeing this tiny little bit of the game, and they're really excited about it. So that became like, oh man, well we want the fans to be like going, oh no way, while they're holding a controller, because that's a beautiful thing, that emotional response that you get from games of surprise and delight, right?
Yeah.
So that was like, let's not show this at this point, let's not do this at this. We didn't even confirm that the Green Ranger is an unlockable character until late September for Power Rangers Day. Mm-hmm. A lot of fans suspected, and a lot of fans wanted it, and a lot of fans figured it out based on a hint pretty big hint that we put in the announced trailer for the Summer Game Fest. But we've really not wanted to put everything out there. We kind of want to let the fans have fun finding some things themselves.
Right. Which is why we'll only be playing up to the end of episode 2.
Yeah, there are 5 episodes, and there are, I believe, 15 levels scattered across those 5 levels. Is that right, Steven? Is it 15?
Yeah, that's not right. There's actually like an intro and outro. So there's like a opening part where you're kind of with Rita. Then there's like the 5 levels, and there's actually a kind of end sort of section to that too.
Yeah.
But it's that sounds about right as far as level count, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, and I think you saw probably a little bit of the map. There is a map, so that once you've completed a level, you can go back. You can replay just that level if you want, and there are secrets and there are hidden objects and there's collectibles throughout the levels too, so that's going to make it easier to just go back to a checkpoint. And you have 3 little check boxes that say you found all the secrets, you didn't find all the secrets, you beat the special rank time, you didn't beat the special rank time, that kind of thing, or you did it without dying. So we figured, like an arcade game, just because you've played it once doesn't mean you're just done. Like, you go back to an arcade game, you play it with different friends, you play it with different goals in mind. Like, this time we're going to get through without dying, or this time we're doing a speed run, or what have you. So the game is really built to echo that kind of experience with friends, couch co-op or online co-op, to mimic what it was like to have 4 or 5 people around a control panel in the arcade.
And so online co-op isn't available at launch, but it will be added in.
Yeah, it depends.
Later?
Yeah, it depends on the platforms. So we're working on that now. So right now the goal is when it launches on Tuesday that Steam and PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 will have online support enabled. And that is it's sort of mixed where, like, basically it is 2 systems, so 2 players on 2 systems. For Steam, you can have some other local players. So, like, if you were playing with 2 people on your side and someone else is playing with 2 people on the other side, you could have 6 total players playing on 2 systems against each other. So that's sort of what it is. Xbox and Switch are online, are still being in test and kind of being finished up. So we're trying to get those out there as soon as we can. And then the end goal, of course, is just to be able to have the full complement of being able to play as 6 players in this across all platforms, before not too long, before the holiday.
Oh, okay. So you're like thinking, just getting this out, and now you have all have to get that work in, It's just...
Yeah, exactly. We wanted it to be obviously to arrive at the same time, but as challenges of development and online development, as I say, is never easy. It's very, very challenging across so many different platforms. And so, it took some factors of it took a bit longer than we would have liked, but we're sort of getting there, and our goal is to try to get it out there to all platforms as soon as possible.
There was a $4.99 from our good friend Madonna Sheehy, who says, in honor of the cookies I made yesterday, what is everyone's favorite Christmas cookie? Fry's dog Sandy included. I will also include my dog Nellie, and everyone else can include their pets if you want to.
I mean, my mom's chocolate chip cookies can't be beat. I mean, it's it's pretty basic, but I mean that's what it's all about. I think.
Is that a Christmas cookie though?
I always let her know I would like them to be among the Christmas cookies.
Oops.
Being from Ohio, my wife always makes Buckeyes every year.
That's not really a
which
cookie,
are,
but very good.
like peanut butter balls, like dipped in chocolate.
Oh, that sounds delicious.
Yeah, they're awesome.
I don't generally make cookies. Where I go, I don't live that far from the Ghirardelli factory near my house, and I just went there yesterday actually because they always have a holiday. So I just go there and I load up on chocolate and hot chocolate mix and all that holiday and whatever new flavors they had. Like yesterday, there's a new flavor which was kind of like, I think it was like white chocolate, crispy, what was it? Gingerbread or something like that. Like chocolate. It was like crazy. And so I'm like, I just love all the different flavors. So I just get high on chocolate sugar during the holidays, and I try to bring in. I'll bring in some next week for the team as well. But yeah, that's my holiday candy.
I'm a sucker for shortbread, but I'm also keto, so I'm basically sugar-free unless I feel like cheating.
Yeah.
Shortbread is what's worth cheating for. Like we always say, like if you're gonna cheat, make the sin worth the cheat. And shortbread cookies, absolutely.
Because you start over. Yeah. How long you been doing keto for?
Coming up on 5 years. It works.
Oh, wow.
It works very well for me. It's
I mean,
I lost about 35 pounds and kept it off.
And you just feel so much better in general.
But being sugar, losing the sugar, I think was more important to me than going low carb. But I found that it's not that hard to maintain. You just really have to commit to it. It's like I've some friends have done it as sort of like a diet, and they're like, and I felt great, but then I went back to eating pizza. I'm like, well, eating pizza also feels great, but what I found is there's a ton of keto alternatives. I still have low-carb tortillas and low-carb pizzas and things like that. No, cauliflower is huge for carbs.
Okay,
Really?
so
it's a misnomer. Yeah, you have to do different, like, you can do different kinds of doughs, but this is not about keto. But yeah, ultimately, I will have some shortbread regardless over the holidays.
So you guys got to Goldar. This is a good part. So this is the first episode here is great because it kind of follows the pacing and structure of the actual show, right? Which is you got the guys fighting everyone, and they're fighting the main villain of the week in normal size, and then after Goldar gets beaten. Goldar gets beaten here, and he's going to scale up to super size, right?
Oh, spoilers.
Because
Spoiler.
when this happened, I was like, oh my god, this is like not what I was expecting at all.
Yeah.
And I'll wait to like ask the inspiration, because I asked Dan about it the other day. Is it inspired by such and such a game? And he said I should ask you.
Oh, for Madonna Sheehy, my mom makes pumpkin peanut buttered dog biscuits as well.
Dang, look at you, Black.
Can I have one of those?
I mean, I've never tried one. They might be good. Like, ever since she saw my mom make those, like, she's convinced everything my mom does in the kitchen is for her.
My dog likes these.
Okay, so Black Ranger.
Sister's Deli or something like that. Like
This is obviously co-op, and you're working together as a team because that's the core tenet of the Power Rangers, right? But we wanted to give you an opportunity to brag on the couch. So Black Ranger actually had the most points. That includes collecting the coins. That includes taking down enemies. So there's a little competitive aspect to the couch co-op as well.
Yes, but y'all worked together and got an A rank. You got an A rank, which is not as good as the fabled S rank, but not too shabby, actually.
So Coury, what were you gonna say was the growing to big size inspired by?
The actual
I want to wait
cartoon,
till
right?
it shows up on the stream. 'Cause I don't wanna
okay. It's
ruin it.
this part. Oh, okay. Here we go.
She literally made her monster grow like every week.
Oh.
It's a great little thing she says every time.
When I saw this, I immediately felt like it might have been inspired by the G.I. Joe arcade game.
So that is sort of we definitely looked at that, but a little bit later on, because we wanted to see, we look at everything, but how they handled certain things. There's a lot of games in that year where the run and gun, where you're running towards the screen.
Yeah.
But I think, our first kind of thinking about this were games like Space Harrier and stuff like that, were very action oriented. Right, it makes sense. Shooting into the screen and things like that. But there's a whole myriad of games that kind of came from that. And even modern games that kind of pull from that a little bit. So definitely looked at G.I. Joe in a lot of games along that time frame and era, as far as how they handled some of this stuff and what how they kept the action going and what was the structure and things like that. But we really wanted that kind of run and gun feel, and you didn't really get in the past Power Rangers game extended sequences ever of like just being able to control the dinosaurs, right? And even in the show, it's like this 5-second sequence where they come out of the earth and they go and they arrive at the Power Rangers location, and we're like,
we got little space invaders here.
Yeah, exactly. It's like what, and then exactly a little bit. And it's like what are the dinosaurs doing in that time that it takes them to go from coming from the earth to the point where they arrive at the Rangers, right? And then we had this whole understory where like, oh, Rita is, mining for these time crystals that you see scattered around here in green. And, adding that to the story kind of made sense. And so, we lead these characters and their dinosaurs through these areas that kind of remind us of what showed up in the show as well, like the Coury area or the, and things like that, where they would reuse the Japanese footage a fair bit. And so we wanted to kind of play on that as well but treating Rita a little bit more seriously, as far as, she's actually trying to do something here in a major scale way, right? And what would that be? And so, but yeah, a lot of those early games, like I said, the Space Harriers and the outruns driving into the screen, G.I. Joe, a lot of that stuff definitely inspired the initial designs for this.
Yeah, I mean, rail shooters are probably my favorite genre of game. So I had a bit of a moment when I saw this, and I love this part, like how you can go around the entire thing. So if you start going, if you head one way, you'll circle around it.
Yeah. So this is a little bit puzzle. It might be a little bit, figuring it out. It's basically got to take out all of the points protecting the crystal on all sides. But this is, again, it's a little bit of a teamwork scenario because you need to have everyone working together to avoid the lasers and going in a direction together to take them all out. So
does it scale? Does like any difficulty elements scale with multiple players, or?
Yes, it scales. We have difficulty settings, which obviously increase difficulty, but it also scales with the number of players you play as, which means that you could have more rounds of enemies showing up or sequences that happen because you have more than one or two.
Is it? I guess I could tell by the spacing on the HUD. I guess maximum players is, as you would expect, 5.
It is 5 initially, and then when you unlock the Green Ranger at the end, he is the sixth. He's the 6th character that you can play.
The HUD will change.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh wait.
what's going on?
Wait, contact.
What are you doing?
We're counting in. We're counting in.
Oh, it says out, but okay. So it's just a wait.
Yeah,
It's just. Yeah.
I thought I had to
You'll
hit a
come in a
button
second.
before the timer was over.
There was a $1.99 from a Clabby94 who says to just pre-order this on eShop. Love these beat 'em ups.
Oh,
This is
thank you.
Still available. Like, it has a little bit of a discount if you pre-ordered it.
Yes, right now on all platforms, if you get it before it releases, you can have, I think it's a 15% discount.
It is
on
15%, yeah, across the board. So 29 and change instead of 35, which is the MSRP.
Yeah.
There was also $2 Canadian from Oliver or Olivier Trottier. Thank you. Saying, so hyped. Are you considering White Ranger DLC?
Ooh.
It's like
We get
the
that.
number one.
It's the number one question. You probably
All right, let me a little background. In
Whoa.
addition
Oh, look
to
at this
everything
go.
else that I do at the studio, I'm currently monitoring all of our social channels, and wow, people want White Ranger as DLC.
Yeah.
When we did not confirm Green
looks
Ranger right
crazy.
away, when we just teased at it, it
Whoa.
was like, you got to do Green Ranger.
We got some going
Here we
on.
go. TBD
how do
is
we-
the answer to White Ranger DLC. Just
Wow.
don't know if we'll be able to do DLC for this project yet. But we know people really would like to see White Ranger.
Yeah.
So this
Our
is
story. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Sorry. I was just going to explain, like, this sort of sequence was also, a lot of people wanted to be able to control, the Megazord and play as them, and we went through a lot of revisions. Like, how do you make,
Good job,
how do you make
Blue.
Yeah.
a robot or a sequence that is normally controlled by 6 different people fun and engaging? And so we actually
Right.
went through a couple different iterations of this where,
punch and
you
try.
Oh, I thought
you all
had
tried
to-
to work together and
It's
do
all you.
different
Oh,
things. But it became
I
really
thought I
difficult.
was punching when you were controlling.
No.
And
Doing everything.
we kind of settled on a situation. I love the fact that they're having a lot of fun with it, which is great.
Yeah.
Anyway, but we settled on this sort of round robin classic gameplay experience of pass the controller sort of thing that everyone remembers hopefully fondly from the early days of gaming. And it still has the teamwork. It allows that sort of a little bit of the trash talking or like kind of like praising when people do it well. And so having a group of people take turns trying to take down the villain of the week, here in this case Goldar, and then build up the meter so that you can use the sword to kind of vanquish him, which is the classic show kind of sequence, right?
The
seemed
animation
like
on him is so cool.
Yeah.
It's
You
really
can double
cool.
tap up and you'll run forward faster.
Oh, okay.
And if you alternate between punches, he'll start going faster. So it almost has like a punch out.
Colonel
element.
Punch Out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very much punch out, left and right.
Oh,
It's funny because
Oh.
Try.
All right.
I blew
I love that it
it.
Gotta
takes
leave
turns,
it to
though, you know?
Pink.
Like, even if
Oops.
somebody succeeds, then the next
Yep.
person still gets
Yeah.
the next round. You know,
Sandy.
Sandy is way into this. Come here,
This dog.
Let me
We're,
show you how
prototyping
it's
this.
done, boys.
Rock'em Sock'em.
Hey, I did.
We
I
showed
know.
it at PAX before this was. We weren't showing this. We were just showing the Brawler at PAX in Seattle this year. And when I said, yeah, and after this, you go into the bigger boss battle, and you're going to go into this superscalar pseudo 3D thing, and it's gonna, you're gonna end the episode by facing Goldar, one-on-one, and actually in like a kaiju slugfest. And everybody said, how's that going to work with like multiple players? I said, well, I can tell you 3 ways it doesn't, because we went through some things that were just not fun, and it just needed a lot more refinement, and a lot of people trying it and saying, what I think would work better, and that's how we got there.
Oh, running power!
Really
look
cool.
at that! Look at that dirt!
And some
Nice.
people that it reminds me of Goemon. Also has.
Yes, yeah. A lot of people bring that up for sure. Yes.
And it's such a cool way to do that, like it's. Yeah, I mean
Daredevil.
So,
rushing the boss.
My 9-year-old son had a sleepover last night. He had friends over, and they were going absolutely crazy during
Billy.
Like they were.
Oh my
I
God,
thought they were gonna
Billy
break
can't
through
do
the
anything
floor. They were
right.
like right above me, like on the living room, and they're just like jumping up and down. I thought they were gonna break through the floor because they were screaming and just just so into it.
Nice.
And this is like
All
coming
right,
from
here we
kids who,
go.
like, have very limited knowledge of the Power Rangers. Like they knew the song, and they had maybe seen like some of the newer shows, like just on streaming or something. And,
All right, you got the sword. You got to get up.
Hurry.
You got to go up to him and then
Oh my God!
take him out with a sword.
Oh no! Oh no!
No, go forward, move forward, and slice.
Oh, what?
Slice again. There we go. Everybody mash. Everybody
I think we
mash.
did a thing.
I'm not sure what happened, but
I
okay.
think we did a
Everybody
thing.
mash. If everybody combines their attacks by mashing their attack button at the same time, then you'll banish him. But otherwise,
okay.
he just sort of falls over. So you got the good ending, but not the great ending.
Oh, okay.
I really love like the cell the low res cell shaded animations here,
and like the low frame rate animation.
Well, I didn't think about the frame rate aspect, but like it kind of makes me think of Beautiful Joe a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which obviously
I love
is
Beautiful Joe.
inspired by the whole like tokusatsu genre anyway.
Ass. Yeah, that UI that bit was a little confusing, but also there's a lot going on.
There is a lot going on.
It's hard to pay attention during a
you'll
stream.
get the game's rhythms. It's like any other game. Like the second time you play through some of these sections, you're gonna be like, I got this. I got this.
And also, we had Kohibadad has been a member for 15 months, and he says, "Just great guests. We're gonna expect them every week now."
Oh,
Which great
we
guest.
can live up to
Wait,
the Argonaut
who?
team.
Are there other guests coming? Who are
No.
these guys?
Yeah.
We had like
I think they mean us. Yeah.
like you guys, and then like last week we had developers of Croc, like the original Croc, just like really talking about. Don't only play the. They didn't find it.
They didn't find the piece. So just while you're here in the juice bar, so this is the kind of in between missions. You can hang out from the juice bar from the show, but there are, and we kind of didn't really reveal this either, but in the upper left there are 3 arcade cabinets, and we actually made 3 original arcade games that you can unlock. Unfortunately, the pieces are missing, and so you have to find them hidden on the levels in order to unlock them. But we wanted to go the extra mile, and Digital Eclipse being Digital Eclipse, we wanted to actually create arcade games that might be in the juice bar at the time. And
Nice.
Hasbro was like, wait, what? You're going to create like more games? And like, yes,
I
we're going to make more
like
games.
how the parts that they say they need are parts that sound absolutely nothing like anything that would ever be inside an arcade machine.
Yeah, it's Billy E's. Yeah, but yes, for those, if you can find them and unlock them, then you can play those arcade games here in the juice bar.
PokePress in the chat is saying anything the devs want to say about the music. Will it be available as a standalone purchase?
Right. We are in the middle of figuring that out right now. We definitely want to be able to get the music out there for people as soon as possible. The soundtrack we were talking about earlier before the stream started, but Sean Bialo, who did the soundtrack for this, is just amazing. He also did the soundtrack for Donut Dodo, and we love that game. And
Awesome
so
game.
we had to bring him in on this, and he just knocked it out of the park. I think when people hear the music in this game, they're going to be blown away. It is quite amazing as far as the soundtrack goes. So yes, to answer your question, we definitely want to try to get it out there as soon as we can. We're just trying to figure out the specifics of that right now.
Maybe when or if the physical happens, there will be a version that has the soundtrack CD with it.
Right.
The arcade games are very fun. There's one that's like particularly like really fun. My kids are going crazy over it. But I'm not going to say anything else.
Yeah, let's leave those as a surprise. But yeah, we had fun coming up with fake part, because at first I wanted to do real part names. I'm like, oh yeah, you need a flyback, and it's like, well, there's nothing funny about flyback.
Yeah.
But a synchronic converter, that's
brilliant
funny.
touch. I love it. I love it.
So that's what's called a symphonic converter.
A synchronic converter for the sync, for the synchronicity of the. Yeah, we just made up technobabble. We had like a list of different technobabble terms.
The old what is it? The retro encabulator.
The turbo encabulator does get a shout out in that scene.
Really?
Yeah, because that was my. Some people know about the turbo encabulator and some people do not, but I did make sure that the turbo encabulator does get a name check.
Well,
so
it's full
some
circle.
People, yeah,
it
some
is
people
full
will
circle.
get a kick. Everything else is just.
Why'd I do that?
Yeah.
My friends and I used to always, I like early days, I guess, like in college and stuff when we were talking, we saw that video, we'd always like joke about it. And, like our favorite fake part to call things is that it needed the roadie.
Amazing. Can we save
You guys are having too much fun there.
By the way, speaking of turtles, if I might
there's 4 of
digress
them.
for a moment,
yeah.
I think.
Oh, weird.
I think
That is weird. I've never noticed that before.
Where did they come from?
Like possibly like my favorite like tiny touch that Digital Eclipse has ever done on a game is like you've got all that museum stuff in Cowabunga collection that like.
Right.
Okay, you've got the PS5 version. It still has like on the game boxes and manuals and stuff like Nintendo seal of quality and stuff like that.
Right.
Like none, like Nintendo Entertainment, like none of that stuff was scrubbed. And that's just like I'd never seen that done before. And whatever magic you all did to make that happen, oh my gosh, I thought it was so worth it.
We
Just
know we have good people. No, that's always a challenge. Really. I get reached out a lot by different companies in relation to like, how do you do this or how do you get this through and things like that. And it's always tough. I think honestly what it is, I mean, I could be this could be completely off, but I think it's because the first parties have seen us kind of grow in these recent years of starting small, like with Mega Man Legacy Collection, to kind of grow and do these things. And I think a lot of the people who work in those CERT teams and stuff are fans of what we do in those collections. And they understand what we're trying to do. And so I think they give us sort of the benefit of the doubt as far as like how it's used and the context of it and how important that is. And I think that's how we sort of get away with it a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, there's obviously always still negotiations and kind of clearing stuff and things like that. But I really can only equate it to that, is that they've just seen us progress on and what we're doing, and they like what we do and they want us to keep doing it. And that's why we get to do that stuff. So.
There was $4.99 from our good friend Ashura, also known as Brady Hartle from Discotech Media, and also worked on Skullgirls and Indivisible and stuff.
Nice.
Saying a nice touch on Rita's Castle. It still says Bandora Palace on the front, like in the Sentai footage.
Oh, yeah. I think people will, as they play through this, I guess, depending, especially if you're a hardcore Power Rangers fan, you'll notice some things here and there that we kind of put nods in that maybe most people won't notice or understand. But I think there's definitely a lot of kind of behind the scenes, kind of little things here and there that people will appreciate once they recognize it. And especially if they know Power Rangers in general, they'll get a kick out of it, hopefully.
Yeah, shout out to May. May Livingston, our art director on this. She sweat every detail about the franchise and its history. And honestly, I had quite a bit to learn when I came on the team, and May was really my Sherpa into the world of Power Rangers. And, I was constantly asking questions about lore, and she just went deep. She knew everything. She knew some of it when we started the project, but she got just so interested in it. She's like, the only way to do this is to be like completely immerse myself and make sure that we are representing stuff. So those kind of touches really are. Oh, there you go. There's the syncrotic converter. Yeah, that's due to people like May sweating the I mean, Digital Eclipse generally likes to sweat the details, but you know, I followed May's lead on all the story points for this because she had done all the research and she helped me, you know, learn what I needed to learn. But yeah, I'm glad that people are noticing those kind of details because there's going to be a lot more deep cut things for fans of the franchise. Obviously, some people are just like, I don't know anything about the Power Rangers. I just like beat 'em ups, and this one looks fun. And so being able to have those two audiences
that's me.
And make them both happy is going to be great, you know.
I think that's the great thing about us, and I think what helps Digital Eclipse is that because we've had the ability to choose a lot of the stuff that we work on, we always have a number of people on the team who are very passionate about the subject matter or the topic or the IP and things like that. And so it's never sort of this thing like, I guess we'll do this because we have to do this. It's always, we only choose the stuff that we want to work on because a large percentage of the people who are working on it are passionate or greatly interested in the subject matter. And I think hopefully, knock on wood, that comes across through in the product.
Well, I mean, to that point, Mike's story about how the conversations began between Digital Eclipse and Hasbro, I didn't know this until recently.
Wow.
Good use of the special. But, you know, Hasbro and Digital Eclipse started saying, how can we work together? And we didn't ask for Power Rangers right away because we didn't think Power Rangers was on the table. And finally, Hasbro said, why don't you want to work with Power Rangers? And Mike was like, wait, we're allowed to work with Power Rangers? You know, so it was considered an honor. We were like, oh my God, you would let us play with the Power Rangers in everything that Hasbro has in its toy box, you know. So yeah, the passion is legit here. People, Kevin Wilson, our CTO, huge Power Rangers fan. And this was a dream project for him to be able to be like, no, we're going to do it. We're going to do it right. We're going to do a 90s era game for this 90s era franchise when it was super big, you know, and yeah, it's all very true.
Man, I feel like this chicken is single-handedly making me want to watch the show. I just love how
this is Chunky Chicken is another one of Kevin's. Kevin said, you know, you've got to have these characters in there, and you know, they aren't the typical villains that you'd come across in past Power Rangers games because they aren't necessarily the most fan favorite ones, but everyone had very specific characters that they loved, such as Chunky Chicken that you see here. And Kevin was super passionate about getting Chunky Chicken into the game, and we just went with it because he's such a crazy character, and you know, we just fell in love with him after the fact, and yeah.
Also, they got all three check marks.
Some of the enemies have better natural attacks that match gameplay. Like the fact that Chunky Chicken can cut through the space-time continuum with shears, you know, with garden shears. Like that makes for fun gameplay. Gives you something to dodge. Gives you a random element of where the enemy is going to be. You know, so that some of that stuff was weighed too. Like, you know, because one of the I will say that Pudgy Pig, which I don't understand why Pudgy Pig is such a popular character. I didn't get the appeal. A lot of people say, "Oh, you're going to do Pudgy Pig? Pudgy Pig is great," but Pudgy Pig's like villainous nature didn't really match what you want to do in this kind of game. So Pudgy Pig did not make the cut, I'm sorry to tell you. But other people did, like Madame Woe, who can like grab you with her hair. Well, that's cool to do from across the screen. You know, so you're going to see the characters and the villains that were chosen and developed were the ones that really did match the gameplay, as well as, oh my goodness, that's one of everybody's favorite characters. There's so many characters like that to choose from anyway. But we tried to go with ones that were going to enhance the gameplay.
There was somebody earlier that was asking if this will run on the Steam Deck. I'm sure it probably will.
Oh yeah, Mike. Actually, Mike is in the chat. But yes,
Hey, Mike.
we do have. I haven't posted the results of the Steam Deck, but it does run on it. We're gonna do, I think, a little bit of work on the default Steam Deck resolution just to get it fully perfect, you know, as far as the game. But even at launch, getting it to run on Steam Deck is no problem. You can totally play it on Steam Deck. So.
And also, I see that Chico Mite was saying, wait, who wrote for PSM the greatest magazine to ever exist?
Oh, that was me. Did someone rate a comment? Oh, hi, whoever wrote that comment.
What is this?
Thanks for reading the magazine back in the day.
I'm sorry, as GamePro alumni, I have to say that I have some issues with that statement. That's
Oh, Dan, you wrote for GamePro?
Yeah, Digital Eclipse is sort of I say it's the old folks home. I was Dan Electro at GamePro, but we Chris Kohler is ex-journalist, Tom Russo, our biz dev guy, he was at Next Gen, Mike Miko is at Next Gen. We have a lot of people that have managed to take their experience from editorial and magazine days.
My gosh, I feel like I'm just in heaven with these bosses I'm fighting right now.
So the connection here actually is the we had to do these two together because it's appropriate from the standpoint that one is the evolution as far as costume wise from the other one in the show later, but it was like we can't just have chunky chicken, we got to have turkey jerk too, and then someone had the epiphany of like, well, what if they fought you together, which was like, oh my god, that's such a great idea, what would we do? So like this is these crazy like late night development conversations that you have when you make a game and you're like, is chunky chicken enough, or do we need, it's like, what about turkey jerk? It's like, well, do we like treat them separately? No, what if we had them fight together? And I was like, that's amazing. And then we just started doing it. And kudos to like also Jeremy Williams, who works as a lead engineer on this product, also worked with me on Space Jam back in the day, but his sort of design for some of these boss battles in conjunction with sort of May's art and other people's art is pretty amazing, and he did such a good job of trying to give these characters personality and give them cool abilities that sort of made sense within the scope of the show, but also from a practical standpoint in relation to the gameplay. So. I mean, he's got a laser baster, you can't beat that.
I really love the way that laser animates as it spins. Like it must, like, it looks like it wasn't done with like any cheating. You're still like working on like this 2D plane, but it still looks really convincing. Yep. Yeah, there it goes again.
Whoa, it's faster this time.
There was also $5 from Woden's Throne. Thank you. Saying, I usually play fighting and beat 'em up games with an arcade fight stick. Can you play this game with one, or do you need to use the right stick?
Dan will comment on this because he plays this a lot with the joystick. So.
All the time. I constantly, one of my hobbies is I like to upgrade low quality arcade sticks with Sanwa parts and stuff like that. But I don't upgrade them for fighting. I upgrade them for retro arcade stuff. So yes, absolutely. You only need the D-pad or the analog stick, whichever one you want to use, and then the 4 face buttons on your controller. There's no shoulders. There's no triggers. It really is a classic, like 4-button arcade style thing. So, yeah, I generally prefer to play this with an upgraded Mayflash F500. And so, yeah, whatever you've got, if you prefer an arcade style controller for this game, it feels really good.
Is that the end of?
He's got. They have one more level, which is a.
Okay.
Well, I won't reveal it, but
there's a bonus level. If you're good enough, let's see if you unlocked the bonus level.
Well, I mean, we got some pretty good S ranks.
Yeah.
Everybody's good enough. You all get the bonus level. Also, well, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I didn't really have anything to say.
I wanted to point out that it's fun to see like the Red Ranger and Alpha on the same screen because that's the same voice actor. It's AJ Locascio, who is Gambit in X-Men '97. 3 of our actors are from X-Men '97.
Wow.
So we're like we don't normally do VO, and we got the opportunity to do it. Micah, our studio head, was friends with AJ. And they had talked when the game was in development, and AJ said, I'm a huge Power Rangers fan. I would love to be able to do that. So when it came clear that we were going to need that, we contacted AJ. AJ said, okay, but I want to be Red Ranger, and I want to be Zordon, and I want to be Alpha. And so like, he wound up doing a whole bunch of things. But then he called all of his friends and said, hey, I've got this Power Rangers game. They're also, like Isaac Robinson Smith, who does Black Ranger. He was like, oh my God, I get to be the Black Ranger? Oh my God, yes, please. And James Willems is the Green Ranger. Huge fan. As soon as he was done recording his lines, he's like, can I have a code? Can I play this game? So it was really amazing to see like these pro voice actors also be hardcore Power Rangers Rangers fans and be totally into it and be like, yeah, I'm so proud. When can we talk about it on social? And you know, so we sent them little like, you know, snippets of themselves and some of their lines. And yeah, we're really, really lucky. And AJ really is the person who corralled the cast for us and just went through like, don't worry, I know somebody. And he got us all these great people. So
yeah, they're really great. Speaking of voices, actually, I've always wanted to. This is the first game in a while that we've done this. So if you have a PlayStation 4, or PlayStation 5, obviously the voices come through on the controller, which is the one thing that I really wanted. And not only that, but obviously the colors on the controllers reflect the Ranger. But that was my one. You know, that was the one thing I wanted in this game from early on. Like, guys, we have to have them speaking out of the PlayStation speakers. That's my one sort of request. That and a waterfall.
You don't have to have bosses or anything, but just as long as the characters speak through the controller, that's gonna make it.
I was going to ask earlier if, like, I mean, for the people watching at home, if they could hear the sound effects okay, because I wasn't sure if it's hard to, whenever sound comes out of the controller, it's hard to tell if the sound is also coming out like the main mix on the speakers or just the controller. So hopefully they can hear the sound effects well enough. They can probably hear it over our microphones.
And I'm curious about other like little like homages to other brawlers like throughout. And I know and there's a very good final fight one later on.
Yes, there is. There is a final fight one that and I'm very happy with that. I didn't know we were going to do that, and then I saw the sprite and I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And so that's I think it's a really fun player surprise.
Yeah.
And we leaned into it with the dialogue without saying what it was.
You know,
but you're going to see lots of little touches here and there.
Is there a diagonal elevator at some point in the game? Because that's like, you know, you're getting at the end of a game where there's a diagonal.
You got the elevator level, but there is no diagonal elevator.
I mean, maybe it's diagonal. You're just like seeing it, you know, in the straight on axis. Maybe.
Right. Maybe it's just perspective.
Yeah.
Right?
It might be. Yeah. We just don't see it.
Right.
I'll let your headcanon say it's a diagonal.
But I think this is where we're stopping it for today's stream. This is
actually.
Can you try the unlock?
Yeah, you can go to the juice bar because they did unlock an arcade game.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
You can see this last.
Yeah. Skip through all this nonsense with the dialogue.
There we go. Why don't you all try the arcade game, and I will see if Sandy will stop fussing if I take her outside.
Oh, I didn't get to see the ridiculously long name of the company that made this arcade game. Nippon something. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because my son played this, and he had recently played Spy Hunter for the first time.
Oh, right.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a little like Spy Hunter meets Bump and Jump.
I was going to say, this reminds me of Bump and Jump, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely a combination of those, except you just have to be careful. It actually reminds me, in a weird way, even though it wasn't based on that, like a little bit of Yar's Revenge, where you got the cannon and you've got to you activate the cannon, but you got to get out of the way if anyone who plays Yar's Revenge. But yeah, it's that sort of thing where like you have to be careful because your attack is, can potentially hurt you if you aren't careful.
That was good.
But this is, for those who are just joining, this is one of 3 arcade games that we've created exclusively for Rita's Rewind that takes place in the juice bar. And if you can find the hidden pieces scattered around the game, then you can unlock all 3 arcade games.
I'm just thinking about Nippon
Tanoshi.
I still didn't get to read it all.
I think.
It's like the word, like the longest word of all time.
Yeah.
This is these were created by one of our engineers, Jason Cirillo. He also did Neo Breakout for Atari 50, and he did the new version Tetris Time Warp for Tetris Forever. And he is an endless fountain of these weird little arcade throwback games. He's done some that haven't come out yet. That also Invasion of the Buffet Snatchers from the Digital Eclipse arcade series. He did that one as well. So Jason is a treasure, and he just was like, I've got this really cool idea. Maybe it's not that cool. We're gonna make it anyway, and then I'll make it cool. And he always delivers.
Jason was previously. I knew him because he lived in New York City at the same time as I did. I saw him at something. But he used to do like this YouTube show, like called I can't think of remember what it's called, something like Video Game Museum or something like that.
Oh, okay.
There was like a big inspiration for me, like wanting to do anything on YouTube, and he was like doing this really interesting, like look at this weird thing before anybody kind of was doing that.
I had a fanboy moment when I realized he was the guy that did the PSP game Whoa Dave.
Yep.
Or was it PS Vita?
Well, I have a PS4 version of it, but I think it's Vita and PS4.
Okay, yeah. And I came up to, we had been working together for a year and a half, and I went, "You did Whoa Dave?" He goes, "Yeah." To him, no big deal, but to me, it was huge. I was like meeting one of my favorite developers. He goes, "Oh, thanks. It's terrible. I was young and all that." I'm like, no.
Because he was at the people who made the Bit Trip series.
The Choice Revisions. He was at for a while for sure. We're glad to have him. He's so great at these kind of running off with an idea and making sort of an original arcade style experience. I think it's kind of amazing that he was able to make a new Tetris game for Tetris Forever too. That's his.
I still gotta get that.
He's great. It's just everyone is kind of cool like that. I think everyone, not to do their own home, but like everyone kind of gets that kind of fun pick up and play kind of experience, and it's even. And what's great about all of our engineers and stuff is that they can kind of go off and create these experiences just from their imagination and remembering the good times. Jeremy with Vector Sector and Jason with the stuff that we talked about. Dave with like his reimagined sort of haunted houses and stuff like that, and Air World, right, and all that fun stuff. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's always humbling to be able to work with a lot of these stuff and a lot of people who've been in the industry for so long and being able to create kind of new experiences that not only warm our hearts as far as nostalgia standpoint from when we were younger, but hopefully bring some of this stuff to newer generations as well, right?
Right. I mean, I think
did you talk to Bulk and Skull?
I did the first time, not this time.
Oh yeah, they say different stuff every time. Every juice bar is a different scene.
Chicken.
And as you saw the list of mementos, those are all callbacks to the show. So if you're a big fan, you're going to recognize some of those objects from episodes that aren't represented in the gameplay and stuff like that. That was again, that was a May touch where we needed to have 20 collectibles, and she's like, "I'm going to make them all like deep cut references."
Oh yeah, wow. Did you guys open that? Did you guys open up the billboard next to the arcade? Oh, they did? Okay.
Yeah. Mac opened it up and went through a few. And so there's like little joke descriptions that let you know kind of where it's from without coming out and saying, "This was in episode 6." That kind of thing.
So you must feel like a lot of pressure for that stuff. Just I got to get it real.
Yeah.
Really got to get it right.
Well, I mean, again, it wasn't that hard because May knew all that stuff. And she's like, all right, let me just sit down and think about this and see what we can do. And yeah, so she did. It's gonna ring true to fans that are looking for that kind of stuff, and it's just gonna be like, oh, good, I'm that much closer to getting an achievement for everybody else.
Leave the game. Right. It drops your character when you do that.
Okay, so I think they're gonna switch over to Atari 50 and play some stuff on there. I see people in the chat saying like, oh, when are they gonna play Vector Sector? Which is like,
oh, there you go.
Like one of my favorite games that I played last year. And that game really, really shines if you play it on a projector. It looks so cool.
Sure.
Being really big.
Yeah, we spent so much time, Jeremy. Yeah, Jeremy. He spent so much time even getting like the vector lines looking good on a Switch screen, on the lower res and stuff like that. There was so much attention put to that. But yeah, that's we actually have at Digital Eclipse an arcade cabinet version of Vector Sector as well downstairs.
Yeah, I did.
So I'm going to take this opportunity to drop, though, because I have some other stuff that I have to do tonight. But it was really fun to watch you guys play, because we played it ourselves, but we're still, hoping that everybody thinks Rita's Rewind is as fun as we feel it can be. So seeing you guys laugh your way all through the first 2 episodes, that was a treat for me. So thanks for having me on, but also thanks for playing the game. Super cool to see. And I'm really even more excited now for Tuesday for when this comes out, so that everybody else can play it too.
And we'll absolutely be finishing it up on one of our streams that we'll do some other time later. So
what? Finish the rest of it.
Well, we'll finish it on backlog restream maybe in the coming weeks if we have time. Yeah. We'll see.
Well, theoretically, like the embargo lifts tomorrow at like 6 or something like that.
Yeah.
You could do it tomorrow night if you want to.
I guess
it's true.
I'm really busy.
You don't know.
Maybe another time.
I mean, like, I guess Backloggery isn't technically like a, like a media outlet. It doesn't
Right. Well, thanks, Dan, for joining.
Yeah,
I'll hang around
thanks.
for a little bit longer,
Yeah.
for a little bit, maybe like another half hour or so, and then I'll
Sure.
take off.
Yeah.
At least I'll hang on.
All right,
Yeah.
cool.
Thanks
All
so
right,
much.
good night,
Dan.
all.
Thanks. See ya.
Good night.
Great having you.
All right, well, let's get into.
Try, you might have to rearrange that a little bit.
Oh, not too bad.
I see that there was $5 from Lenny Carl in the chat. Thank you. He said, already got my copy pre-installed. Happy to see all the love for the show. It prompted me to pull out my DVD set.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we watched a lot of episodes of that of the first team over and over again, for sure, to get inspiration about stuff. Just little things here and there of like transitions between scenes and stuff like that, and how they use the Japanese footage versus the American footage, and just we had a lot of bonding experiences watching that show, I think, and reading the comics too. The Boom comics are great, by the way. If you haven't read any of the Power Rangers comics, Boom had a lot of runs over the last couple years that are really great. They actually have them collected in hardcover volumes now, but they're really fun reads too. Yeah.
There's also $5 from EB Chill 2 with no message, but always showing his support. Thank you.
We are on my account. Right? Yeah.
So, Stephen, have you ever been to the Strong Museum of Play?
I have not. Some folks like Chris Kohler and folks have gone there, but I haven't had a chance. I've always sent people in advance instead of me. But I hope to get there sometime, but I haven't been there personally.
I'm going there for the first time on Wednesday. I have to travel to Rochester for my day job, and I was
take advantage of it.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the digital archive directors there followed us on Twitter and was talking and said, like, if you're ever in town, let us know, and we'll give you a behind the scenes tour. So I'm very excited.
Nice.
So as soon as I found out I was going there, I was like,
that's great. You'll have a blast. Yeah, you have a blast. Chris, we oftentimes will send Chris Kohler or others to there to like scan stuff, and find stuff that might be difficult to find otherwise. But it's a lot of the behind the scenes, like Indiana Jones archaeological stuff that most people don't think about, but you have to do so much of leading up to getting a product like Atari 50 out or anything like that. There's just a huge amount of research time and digging up people who worked at the different places and what they kept on their hard drives and what's lost and things like that. So
I love Atari 50. It was one of my favorite games that I played last year, and it was so cool to just even do a little something for the DLC to be able to it was just, I don't know, it's just so cool to have my name in the credits of something like that.
Yeah. No, you're great. I mean, your help on that was awesome, and we always appreciate people helping out on this stuff in whatever capacity. So, this is the Haunted Houses. This is Dave Reese did this one. This is also in this game how you unlock math for the 2600 in a secret way if you follow the clues, basic math.
Yeah, I know Drumble here is a big fan of Haunted House.
Yeah.
We did a stream on New Year's Day.
You can play multiplayer in this, can't you?
Yeah, we did a stream on New Year's Day where we played 40 Atari cartridges. On a real system over RF.
Oh wow.
It was an interesting experience. Drum is 4 years older than me, so he grew up a little bit with the Atari. I didn't really. I was all about NES. My Atari era console exposure was mostly ColecoVision more so than Atari.
Sure.
I was always a little afraid to try, but what I have found both through playing in arcades and from that stream where we did nothing but Atari games. If you are in a context where there is literally nothing else to do but play pre-1985 arcade games or Atari games, and you really sit down and focus on them, even if you think they're too old for you, you kind of start to get it and start to see the appeal, I think.
Yeah, I think that's the key thing, and that's where I think Atari 50 really shines, is that if you just give people, and I've said this many times before, but you give people a list of just a list of ROMs and they don't have any context. They're not sure what to look at or what to care about. So I think you have to sort of provide the context so that, and explain to people why these games are important and why you should care about them. And that, that makes a huge difference. And I think the biggest accomplishment for Atari 50 was the amount of even younger folks who pinged us who said like, hey, I didn't grow up with Atari. I don't know much about Atari aside from like the Fuji symbol, right, that I saw on a t-shirt at a mall or something like that. But the way that this was presented was interesting, and I learned so much. And now I'm more interested in the stuff that Atari is doing. And I think if you can get, especially younger generation, to kind of think back and understand the origins of this industry and where things came from and why things are the way they are, is a huge win, because it provides a lot of context for them, moving forward, and also helps to hopefully drive interest in other people in joining this industry and creating products, right?
Yeah.
And games that other people enjoy.
Yeah, what I think is cool is like, so Digital Eclipse was bought by Atari like 2 years ago, I think. And
it was just last year, actually. It was like around latter part of last year.
And it was after this had already released, like the first version of this had already released.
Yes,
so,
for sure.
I mean, I just think it's cool that, I think there's a lot of people at first they hear like, oh, like this company bought them, like they're not gonna be able to do it, but they've like they've given you guys a lot of freedom to like pretty much do whatever you want, and they were doing the same thing with like who's the people who did like
Night Dive?
Night Dive. Yeah, like they just kind of say like, just keep on doing what you're doing.
Yeah, that's what's been great about them. And obviously when we were in the talks about being acquired and stuff, there's always those concerns, right? Like, are we just doing Atari stuff and things like that? But Wade and that team and everyone over there were really just like, hey, we love what you do. Let's keep doing it. There's no reason why to just keep it Atari oriented or Atari focused. There's a lot of properties that you guys want to be involved with, you guys want to make games for and experiences for. So let's just keep doing that. And so it's been great to be a part of that family, because now what they're able to do is take some of the other burdens off of us that we don't have to worry about, and we can just focus on the creativity and the making of the games side of things, and less about the the upper managerial part that is time consuming but doesn't necessarily contribute to the actual core game experience, right? And so I think that's what's been the win-win in this scenario, and they've really helped to also go out and pursue and find IPs and ideas for products that we could work on if we're interested in as well. And so they aren't just necessarily just sitting there and saying like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do, how about this, they'll suggest stuff as well. And oftentimes that leads to some great ideas and potential projects to work on.
I mean, something I like about, you mentioned Digital Eclipse and
Grumble, play Vector Sector. I need you to go to Vector Sector.
I give Drum the controller, so
yeah,
I feel like he's the right person to kind of explore this list.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
I think I played this when I was at Gabe Swar's house.
Oh, okay.
He was a lot like many people. He was very insistent for me to play. But what you were mentioning Night Dive, and something I like about like Night Dive and Digital Eclipse both is like, I mean, not just the work you do, but also like I trust your like the projects that you choose to do. So like I didn't really grow up with PC gaming. So when Night Dive is like doing all of these, old shooters and stuff.
Oh, this is cool.
when Night Dive is doing like all these cool shooters, like I like almost see it as like a recommendation from a friend. Like it's like, okay, I've never played this game. I don't know much about it, but like I like everything else you guys choose to do, so I want this, so it's the same thing very much with Digital Eclipse as well for me, I think.
Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I mean, a lot of thought goes into it, and I was talking about earlier before the stream. It's there's no shortage of projects, and it's more about like being able to choose stuff that we're passionate about and really care about and can contribute to. Like we don't. The last thing I would want is to put a team on a project that no one really has any fundamental interest in or grew up with or hasn't, because I feel personally that like the more passionate people are about an IP or a property or a brand or something and they're working on the product, the more that comes through in the end product, right? Like, it's just a natural sort of scenario. So if I can unite teams and brings teams just like the Wizardry team that did the sort of remake of Wizardry, the remaster of Wizardry. They're huge fans of Wizardry, right? They're huge fans of Wizardry, and it sort of made sense in that they put it all into that product. And so I think that's our secret sauce, if you will, is trying to match up teams with IPs and properties that they are personally interested in or grew up in and want to sort of contribute to, and hopefully that can continue.
I love how you can see like the CRT beam coming from the center to draw the vectors.
And there's like a little bit of ghosting.
Yeah.
I feel like when he sees what happens next, I feel like this game alone is going to single-handedly like sell him to get a copy of this for his Steam library. Because like this was awesome, but when it goes to the third part, I was like, oh geez.
Everyone's staring at this.
I know, we're all waiting for it to happen.
Oh, okay, yeah. I remember this from Gabe's house.
And it looks like so authentic.
Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, Jeremy did a really good job on this.
Yeah, so it was just like all done by him.
Pretty much. Yeah, but most of these games were done. Obviously, this didn't require any specific art. He did all this stuff, but some of the other games required like art that had to be created, sprite work, like Air World, things like that. But yeah, he pretty much did this. Dave pretty much did the Haunted House remake or the follow up, and he did Air World predominantly. Jason, who we talked about earlier, he did Neo Breakout basically on his own. But as far as like the design, the coding and stuff like that, it's all those guys. And that was the key thing for Atari 50 when we knew we were going to make original kind of experiences. Everyone kind of walked away from like, how did Atari impact me growing up, right? And they wanted to kind of focus on different things. And the Vector arcade games is where Jeremy kind of felt enamored about and loved, right? Here's your Tempest-esque part. But he just loved that. So he just ran off and started doing this early on in the product. And it ended up great. It's one of the highlights. A lot of people really, really love this game.
How many different games are in this?
Oh, that's
now?
In Vector Sector here.
Oh, there's... So after Tempest, it repeats, I think.
Oh, okay.
Back to Asteroids. Yep. And it gets like harder and harder.
Yes.
But like, so there's like all of these like reimagined games that you have access to here, which is like so cool. And then you've got like kind of like the more like faithful emulations. But I mean, this is really about the whole complete package with the videos and the history and the timeline and the magazine stuff. Oh, can we go to Coury's PSN page, because it's incredible and I feel like Steven needs to see it.
Sure.
What I think is cool about Air World is that like it was a game that was not made. They just had like design documents, right?
That's right. Yeah, just what was. Series. Exactly. There was just some notes and stuff that was shared in basically, but and that's why I like all of these reimagined stuff, because they're so different, right? You've got us finishing the Sword Quest kind of thing. You've got games like Vector Sector, which focus on the Vector stuff. You've got Mike's Yar's game, which is basically like running on the original game, but there's a layer of paint, like new visuals on top of that you can turn off and on. And I think that's the great thing about all of these reimagined games. They're all kind of different from each other, and it really kind of point to, the personalities of the folks who played this stuff in the early days.
This is Coury's PSN profile from what is some magazine article that's in Atari 50. Just like
it's an ad. They're all like,
they're all like, what's going on? What's going on here?
Oh, right. That's funny.
I don't know. I think it's great.
No, that's great.
I don't know what you were playing.
Because you can take any screenshot and then
right, and put it in the past. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, any personality wise and that. But being able, and I joke that we should apply for the Guinness World Record for this game, because for the longest amount of time that went from when it was announced to actually when it went out, because it would say there was another record, I think in Japan or something, for a game that was, but it was like much early. It was probably like 25 years had passed or something like that. But But we did get a world record. We did get a world record for this Guinness for the first kind of video game documentary, interactive documentary. So technically, we ended up getting one for this, even though it was for a different thing.
Wow.
What I think is cool is that this represents basically like this idea that had been like gestating at Digital Eclipse. I feel like like Mike had mentioned, doing something like this for so long,
like his whole career.
It's like to see it finally come to fruition, and also like be as well received, and then being able to take that to focus on like individual games or like individual series.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just kind of like this culmination of everything that Digital Eclipse has been working towards basically their entire existence.
Yeah, and the cool thing is that for most people know that, but the making of Karateka, or however you want to say it properly, that release was actually in development before Atari 50 was for a long time. Like it was us trying to figure out what this could be in relation to Karateka, and there was a lot of learnings, and we kept changing it and adjusting it and things like that. But it wasn't until we sat down and figured out what the design of Atari 50 was that things really clicked, and then we could take that and sort of relay it and overlay it on top of Karateka and spark sort of the Gold Master series. So it was this weird like 2 steps back, 1 step forward kind of scenario as we figured out what we wanted to do with Karateka. And then obviously that established the first Gold Master series, and then Jeff Minter for the second one, then Tetris.
Still got to get Minter and Tetris. They're both on my wish list.
But you know, it's great to be able to work with people. You know, Jordan and Jeff are just amazing creative folks, and they're so nice to talk to, and they're so appreciative of, you know, us caring about what they've done and things like that. And so it's just been a joy to work with those folks and put kind of hopefully you know, share their life stories and their experiences with a whole generation of people. Because really, Jordan's story is a relatable one. It's a kid growing up wanting to make video games, right? And kind of failing initially and then eventually achieving success. And who can't relate to that? I mean, how many people in the world want to grow up and make video games and don't know where to start? But there's your Spider-Man story, right? In the making of Karateka, really, it's Peter Parker and figuring it out, and it's kind of amazing, and the sort of the bond and the sort of the journey that he has with his dad is so amazing in that.
This kind of reminds me of like Flappy Bird a little bit. This part.
Yeah.
I mean, I never played all these.
Yeah.
I feel like we had the first one when I was a kid.
Yeah.
So what is this specifically you're playing right now?
Airworld?
This is
Yeah,
Airworld, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I had
So there was like
Fire
like
Quest or something when I was a kid.
Which is what this part is based on, right?
I mean, this whole
Well, no.
yeah, this whole
It's all those games combined.
Airworld is the 4th game that never came out.
Drum has talked with a fire in his eyes many times about this series, and then when we actually sit down and play, he's like, "Oh, by the way, it's terrible." It's a great idea.
It's a very challenging series. It had comics. It did have comics that were published with it, right? They had this contest that never got completed, but it's a key part of the Atari early history for sure.
There's $5 from Mega X6. Thank you, saying Atari 50 is a great collection of history and games. It's been my first real look and play with Atari games. I bet you that's something that has been true for a lot of people. Like, this is the first time that they've actually given a lot of these games a shot, and also it puts it in context for them.
Right. Yeah, that's the whole point, right? It's like introducing people to this, and like I said, I feel that the industry and just people in general, even fans, can learn a lot from that early era of gaming. And I talked about this obviously earlier, where again, it's all about the gameplay, right? There aren't modern fancy visuals to hide stuff. It literally is like the gameplay has to be fun, and the designs and the ways that they did things, not only from a gameplay perspective, but even just displaying stuff on a screen is kind of amazing, and you can learn so much from that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's also $5 from Matthew, who says, "Is Digital E in the EGM compendium?" I don't know.
I don't know. I haven't seen that yet. I did Kickstarter that, if that's what you're talking about, but I don't know if we're in there in any way, shape, or form.
Also, Matthew is suggesting that a live stream of real life Power Ranger cast playing the new game, if possible.
Oh, that would be interesting.
And Digital Eclipse gets the right to make a new Sunset Riders.
Oh, we do love Sunset Riders. It is sort of a great game. We've always talked about, Sunset Riders is always one of those games that you talk about with a mix of other ones. And I'm like, I think what we came to is like, oh, there's like these half a dozen games like Sunset Riders that we would love to do stuff to, but how do you bundle them together in a meaningful way that connects them, right?
When I was visiting John Linneman, gosh, I can't remember what it was for, but he put on some other game that I'd never heard of. I'm drawing a blank of what it even looked like, but it was just like Sunset Riders. I think it was arcade.
But yeah, I know what you're talking about.
I can't remember what it's called, but I'm like, it plays just like Sunset Riders, and I had no idea it even existed.
Is it Mystic Warrior? No.
No, I think it was kind of sci-fi. I cannot remember.
I know what you're talking about.
I cannot remember what it's called, but it really surprised me. I'd never heard of it.
That what is it, like Outlaw Enforcers, or is kind of a spiritual sequel or successor to it?
Oh, right. What's that game called? It's inspired by Lethal Enforcer. No, not Lethal Enforcers.
No, not Lethal Enforcers.
What is the name of that game?
You'll remember it after the stream.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was. It was something that came out a couple of years ago. I haven't played it though. Gosh, what's it called?
Death Wish Enforcers.
Death Wish Enforcers, that's it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Sunset Riders would be interesting because, like, the home versions are so different as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, I feel like Konami is letting these big compilations kind of happen now, like with the Castlevania stuff and like Ninja Turtles. Like, I mean, I'm sure that maybe there's a Konami 40 or whatever in the future.
Yeah, we'll have to figure it. We always talk about
what year it would be.
Yeah, we love working with Konami. They're great. They're great folks. We talk to them constantly about stuff, and I think they would love for us to work on things. Everyone always asks us too about like, are you gonna do like a Simpsons game or a Simpsons arcade follow up or or an X-Men arcade game follow-up or things like that, and we would sort of love to. It's just like, A, finding the time, and B, too, like figuring out,
Start a Discord chat.
how do you connect those together in some meaningful storyline, right? That would, make sense.
So this is Cloak and Dagger. It's weird because I don't even think I knew that this game existed.
It was only ever an
because
arcade
I always
game,
assumed
and a very limited release.
Yeah, like I just thought of it like as the movie,
Yeah.
Is it related to the movie?
Right.
It's in the
Dabney
movie.
Coleman movie.
Okay. It's the game in
Which is like
so in the movie they have an Atari cartridge that has the secrets in it, but there was no Atari game that ever came out, so it was just an arcade game. So it's a little weird, but it always confused me as a kid.
Yeah, because I mean that movie, it's like weirdly violent towards children.
Yeah,
in that movie, like that kid's like in a lot of danger in that movie. Like they are like really gonna kill him for a kids movie.
It's pretty dark. Yeah, it's pretty dark for a kids movie. Yeah.
Like they shoot the one computer programmer guy like in the eye.
Oh yeah, it's pretty. Yeah.
Where's like the newer stuff? Like I don't think the menu we're in has anything where like with what Coury was involved.
You mean as far as the DLC stuff?
Yeah.
Right.
You can sort if you press the sort button. You can sort by the main core game. I don't know, is it triangle? I think if you press that, you can sort, and then it'll show like the base and then the DLC.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So now if you hit the shoulder buttons, you can skip between. Oh no, you kept switching. So went back. There you go. Now you can use the shoulder buttons to skip between the base game. You don't have to skip forward like that. You can actually just tap. There you go. So that's pack 1, which is the DLC pack 1, and then there's pack 2.
So is Pack 2 what Coury? I mean, obviously he didn't work on the games, but
Pack 1 and Pack 2, just the videos.
Right.
Like the interviews. I didn't shoot that stuff either. I was just editing it.
Man, look at that Atari box art. You know, it was so interesting. One of something I didn't know until I think it was maybe like 4 years ago. There was this interview with Gail Tilden that went online, and she was at Retro World Long Island Retro Gaming Expo. And I caught the second half of her talk, and she just has this really clear memory of the early days of Nintendo of America and so many interesting stories to tell. And but in that interview that I watched several years ago, she was talking about how the NES black box was so intentional because they wanted people to have a realistic view of what they were going to get, because they sort of thought that people being
right.
The disconnect between the box art and the reality of the game on Atari was so strong. And then, but that's I just want a coffee table book. I mean, it probably exists of just Atari box arts. I mean, it's
there's definitely some ones released. There's a couple of Atari books, but it is a weird comparison because I felt, and we discussed this, Mike, same thing, is back then, game graphics were so simplistic, but buying the game as a kid and then going home and you're just staring at the box art the whole time, it just kind of lets your mind wander a bit, right? About, oh my God, this game is going to be crazy and amazing and such beautiful artwork and stuff like that. So it is interesting, that Nintendo perspective on it. I can sort of see it too. Yeah, but also I think having that fancy artwork lends itself to the imagination.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, even NES style graphics, even Super Nintendo style graphics. I mean, you are letting your imagination fill in so many gaps. Even with more beautiful graphics, some later generations, the gameplay is still very representative of the action that's actually occurring, like in RPGs especially, right?
Right.
So you still that was a big part of filling in. I mean, even stuff down to I'm always a big proponent for not every game needs voice acting. Let me just read stuff and imagine the voice I want to imagine in my head, right? So I think there's different aspects that we're imagining, but there's a certain level of abstraction that I think is actually a very positive quality for a video game to have.
Very much so. I mean, that's a classic Link not having a voice kind of scenario, right? Up until for that sort of you project yourself into the lead character, and you have your own perceptions of what they should be like and who they are, and why take away from that, right?
I don't, some people that's a hard no for them. They're oh, I can't stand silent protagonists, and me, I'm I don't like the protagonist putting words in my mouth. I like to have the silent protagonist. I like to, project myself onto them.
Yeah, fair point. Fair point.
But speaking of that, the Atari art, the person who did that great Art of Atari book, Tim Lampatino, he works for Digital Eclipse now, right?
Well, no, he works for Atari. So he
works for Atari. Okay.
Yeah, we worked with him a bit on early stuff like the Gold Master series while he was still freelance. And then, Atari was looking for sort of a creative director to help unify branding and the look of packaging and stuff like that. And he made just natural sense just from the standpoint that he's been working with us, Digital Eclipse and other folks already. And he had so much experience doing brand design for toys and books and things like that. And so Atari grabbed him. And so he runs sort of the creative team, at the main Atari group and, sort of has an impact on any sort of packaging or design that goes out there.
That's so cool. It's just so smart. It's so smart. It feels like, with you guys and with Night Dive, it seems like Atari's seeing the things that's there, but really understanding their strengths and letting them do like
I
work
like how it's
work
playing
to that
Hall of the
instead of saying
Mountain
like you're going to come
King.
here and you're only going to do this thing. That
Exactly. Yeah, I think that's the key thing. We talked about that a little bit earlier, but yeah, Atari's been so helpful. Letting us do our stuff, and they'll have suggestions and things as well, but they haven't stifled any of our creative, freedoms. Or and if we really feel strongly about a particular IP or property that we want to work on, they do everything in their power to help us get to that point. So they've been great.
Man, this game was on some computer that was in, I want to say it was like 3rd grade, I think it was.
Oh, there's so many like sort of knockoff variations of this game.
It probably was a knockoff, but yeah,
stuff like that for sure.
It was on the computer, and like I didn't have a computer at home at the time, and
Sure.
you weren't allowed to use the computer unless you got like your other schoolwork done in the classroom. And it was all like this same girl, Tasha. She was always the smartest one and got all her work done the fastest. And she was always playing this freaking game on the computer. I'm like, I want to play. I probably got to play it like one time. But no, it was always the same girl. She was always the one that got to play the Anteater game. And I was like, it looks so cool. I want to play it.
Frickin' Tasha.
Frickin' Tasha. Man.
Oh, the eating worms is okay.
Oh, I thought you couldn't eat the worms.
You got to get them from behind.
Oh, so the worms,
weird.
it's okay for the worms to touch the tongue.
Weird.
The side of the tongue. Okay.
Well, no, not from the top either.
I love that slow one.
Oh, bye-bye.
Oh. Better anthills elsewhere.
Now it's Tasha's turn. Super.
Oh, did I freeze? I think I froze.
Oh yeah, your webcam doesn't appear to be moving, but I hear you.
Let me turn off my camera and turn it back on. 1 second. Let me see. That was weird. Okay. I was like, why am I not moving?
Sometimes you just gotta do the whole turn it off and turn it back on. Don't know why, but sometimes it works.
So is that? I'm looking at your Sega stuff back there. Your light up Sega sign. Is that a Sonic? It looks like Sonic's foot right above.
Oh yeah, that's Sonic posters from my Sonic time. So like, there's some Sonic stuff around here. Like I have a bunch of just Sonic stuff that I gathered when I left Sega when they moved the headquarters down from San Francisco to down in SoCal, and they were just like handing out stuff and giving out stuff, and I was just like grabbing as much as I could I felt guilty. I don't feel guilty now, but back then I felt guilty. I'm like, no one else is grabbing any of this stuff. Why am I the only one to do it? But they were clearing house. They were like handing out like Saturn games and posters and style guides and all this. So I was just grabbing like everything, and I have it in like tons and tons of boxes. Things like Sonic Viewfinder stuff for promotional things, and I've got like the Eternal Champions style guide that was released a long time ago, and stuff. So it's just, I haven't gone through it all, but it is like a huge. I have like 50 Chow bobbleheads that we released. There was a limited edition of like Chow bobbleheads that we released for an event, Sonic Boom event and things like that. So, but I love Sega. I worked there almost for a decade actually, when they were in San Francisco, from the early days, kind of like
the original offices or whatever.
There was like, they had 2 different buildings. So like the first one, the big one, then we moved to down the street into this other building a little bit later. But 2 locations I was at, and but I started at the early days of PSP is when I joined.
Okay.
And then all the way till they moved down to I can't remember how many years ago that was now, but they moved down to LA due to the success, ironically, of probably Sonic and things like that. They wanted to do more licensing and get into movies. Obviously, the Sonic movies are doing well now. Yeah. They wanted to get I think closer to that. We also had a studio down in Southern California, so it made sense, but didn't feel like, a lot of us didn't feel like leaving, wanted to stay here in the Bay Area, so as expected. But it was a good time. I learned a lot at Sega, and it was a blast working on such properties like Shinobi and Sonic and all that stuff. So.
It's funny because we had like one of the designers of Volgar 2 on with us.
Oh, Chris Dershman. Chris Dershman.
Yeah, so he was on here, and he worked on that game on Shinobi on the 3DS, and I was like, it's kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah.
To like use an overused term, I guess. Yeah. It's just a cool game.
Battleship.
Yeah, it was. We had a blast. That was worked with Chris on that property so long. So it was weird, like when he ended up at Digital Eclipse for a while, and he started working on Volgar the Viking 2 with us as well. So it was like, everything's in this industry is kind of cyclical in some ways. You end up working with people or meeting with people.
Small world, right?
Yeah, exactly. I love this skydiver. Like, this is the other thing that I really appreciate about our team is just like the extra attention to like the bezels, right, and just getting the marquees right and the lights and just how the game originally worked with as far as like if you land while the lights are going on, you'll get the letters in the game, and it's just kind of cool. I love something because the art is great. The clouds were originally stickers that you stuck on the arcade screen back in the day, and so it's. I love games like this because they have such personality, and being able to sort of replicate them, in a modern kind of setting is pretty neat.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't have actually known like that. Like those clouds, like they're high resolution. They're not like actually like game elements.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
Like the ones on the screen, yeah. Because we played this on the 2600.
Yeah.
Obviously, we did not have high resolution cloud stickers on the TV.
Right. Yeah, I think that was Sky Space Diver. Like I think they changed it. They've added the space, I think, in between. But this was the original arcade one. But yeah, I love some of these arcade games and just the designs of them. Like you guys were playing. Was it Fire Truck, and like the 2-player design of that with a steering wheel back in the arcade days is pretty unique and interesting. But they had just clever ideas for arcade games and designs of cabinets and functionality.
Yeah, it's so interesting how that was like a really big part of the like Western arcade experience, whereas in Japan, like it was all about the candy cabs, where you just they didn't really take on, other than I guess you could put a marquee on the top, but otherwise like the cabinets didn't have
the same. Everything's the same.
Yeah, it didn't have an identity connected to the game itself, which is I guess convenient for arcade operators, but there's definitely a character to the I guess American style of arcade cabinets that it's I like the way that they're done in both regions, I suppose. But
right.
I obviously have the nostalgia for how American arcade cabinets were done.
Ooh. Yep.
I see Ashura with $5. Thank you, saying that made me remember that one of my earliest gigs was designing the manual for the PS2 and PSP Sega Genesis collection, which was Digital Eclipse.
It is Digital Eclipse. And actually, when I worked at Sega, that was my first PSP project was Sega Genesis collection.
Really? So, that collection looks amazing on the Vita screen.
Oh, really? I haven't looked at it in such a long time, but yes, that was my first PSP project at Sega. That obviously that and the PS2 version released, but those are fun. Yeah, that was my first exposure to Digital Eclipse, Backbone, that kind of era at that time. But it was cool working with those guys, and then I didn't really put two and two together. Like, I ended up at Digital Eclipse in the future, and some of those people worked on Genesis Collection. So again, it's just everything's cyclical,
Yeah, and it's all like it's funny because sure, like I'm sure you guys know the same people or know each other somehow. I don't know, but he wrote for or did layout design for as a Hardcore Gamer magazine, which was kind of like it's just a lot of magazine folks, which is cool.
Like everyone's kind of. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, he just said it looks like he also did the Afterburner Black Falcon.
Oh, right, the other PSP for Sega. Yeah, another PSP game. Well, yeah, Sega went all out on PSP. Sega Genesis, Crazy Taxi, Fair Wars, Afterburner, Alien Syndrome. what else was there's a bunch of games that like one year that Sega was like, we're going all into the PSP, everything's gonna be PSP. Golden Compass, like everything, all the Marvel games were on PSP. Golden Compass was on PSP, like everything was on PSP.
Well, I was looking at your Moby games before this, and it looks like you did a lot. Well, I guess it would have been through Sega, because I saw like the DS version of Thor, which was like the Way Forward developed one.
Yeah, that was in Sega. That was on the Sega side. Yeah, we managed. I worked on all the Marvel stuff and helped manage the projects, the Marvel projects.
I'm surprised you could do that.
Yeah, I mean that's another hidden gem, I think. Is Thor on the Game Boy or for the DS? I mean, the DS version.
Yeah, that was a fun one. Yeah, those DS. That was a fun one. Actually, the one that I really hope. I mean, it's hard to get now. It's a little bit expensive. That I wish people would play is the Aliens game we did with Way Forward. Yes, with Way Forward, which I think is a great little Metroidvania-esque Aliens game that most people weren't even aware of because it originally was going to launch alongside Colonial Marines. But then that Gearbox game kind of got delayed and all that stuff. And so we end up releasing the DS game sort of by itself. So it kind of got lost in the shuffle. But if you're a fan of Aliens and the DS and sort of like a Metroidvania light experience, definitely check it out. It's probably, to buy it is probably a little bit expensive now, but
yes.
But it's a fun game. I have the lenticular. We did this for marketing. We did this lenticular screen of like a face hugger moving across the screen, jumping on someone in the game. That's hanging. You can't see it, but it's hanging on the wall like in front of me. But that was a fun game to work on for sure.
What is Drummer? What is this that you're playing right now?
Is Red Baron.
Yeah.
Okay.
Baron. Yep.
Also on this collection is the Atari Lynx Warbirds.
Yes,
which is like one of my favorite games. When I had a Lynx, that was my favorite game.
Oh, I thought. What about? Well, I thought.
Well, Blue Lightning, of course, is not. Blue Lightning is not in this collection.
Oh, Blue Lightning is like crazy impressive. I think like the fact that you like actually like you see the clouds above you and you like actually go through and above the clouds like that. That blows me away.
And it's like has so much sprite scaling happening at once.
Yes. Yeah, there's some great games on the Lynx. I don't think I really appreciated the Lynx until later on in life, and started playing a lot of that stuff. But there's some fun games.
Do you know that one?
Drumble, is this your first experience with this collection?
Yeah.
You should, if you get a chance, you should like check out the museum side of it and like how this stuff is all integrated into it as well, just because it's really neat.
Yeah, I've seen a few videos on it.
Oh, okay.
Let's look at if we go to the video section, we should look at some of the videos Coury edited. Where would we?
I mean, the ones that were there.
They all start with a close up
of.
They all start up with a close up of Coury and says, "Hello, I'm Coury."
Oh wait!
I hope you enjoy this presentation. I hope you enjoy this presentation.
Coury, is some of the footage from Mine and Drum's New Year's stream you used in the videos, didn't you?
I think that I ended up not using any of the like the RF stuff.
Yeah,
it was just like it was too blurry. But I did have to borrow an Intellivision from somebody local.
Oh, it shot B-roll in the same style.
And I did my best to make it look as close to the what is it, Area 5? Area 5 is the one that did.
Oh, right. Yep. Area 5. Yep.
And that would be in this one. You can see like the thumbnail of one of them, like later on. But yeah, I mean, it's just like such a cool package. I have yet to try the Tetris. Like that was getting crazy good reviews, and it has like that like Jason Cirillo did that one mode where it changes like to different eras, right?
Yeah, that's the Tetris Time Warp game. Yeah, he did that whole sort of game thing, and which was always challenging. Trying to create a new Tetris game that the Tetris company is like happy with and follows all the rules, right? Because there's all the guidelines about everything and how Tetris works in a modern era. But he was up for the challenge, and it's so fun. It's like 4 players. You can play 4 players, and it's a lot of fun because it kind of takes you on this journey through the different eras of Tetris.
Yes. Yeah.
Try the reimagined Yar's Revenge.
Yeah, all the reimagined stuff looks really cool. Like
Yeah, that was the Mike Micah. That's the one where basically it's running the original game, but we did a layer of effects and art.
Oh, so
he like designed this. Like it's cool that like the head of the studio can still do like scratch that itch.
Oh yeah, I mean Mike was huge on Power Rangers. Mike did a lot of the scalar stuff on Power Rangers. So like the Zord stuff and the dinosaur. Really? That was a lot of Mike. That's a lot of Mike.
That's so cool. Like it's funny because like it's so cool that the atmosphere there is like really encouraging people to just like if you want to build like a whole game on your own time, we'll like put it in something or we'll put it out there. It makes me think of because when we visited in 2018, we were there to like interview. Originally, we came to interview Mike for the M2 documentary that we did. Who's another studio that kind of encourages that, where they let like the developers like, if you want to like work on this on your own time, like we can maybe like fit it into this game or something like that.
Right.
And it's such a cool like atmosphere, and just like it's got to be great for like morale. I think.
Forget how
I think because people can try to stuff, and the thing is like even if it doesn't necessarily go somewhere, the ideas can be built upon and potentially utilized in something else, right? So nothing gets thrown away or lost. It's all creative endeavors, and sometimes some of those really basic ideas that might start out, not that great because it just didn't work out, spark something else in a different direction that does really do well or resonate.
Yeah. And it's like it's like in a time where game development is like kind of tumultuous, like it's good to see like everyone like getting excited about it, like not being like I don't know, like feeling like they're creatively stifled in some way, like
I think that's a great thing. Yeah, I mean it's been great for us from the standpoint that there's a lot of properties and projects that we want to work on and get a chance to work on, and it's the industry is still in this sort of challenging situation, and we always seem to get bad news every other week.
But,
which sucks. But I think. I think we're sort of lucky to be in a situation where we get to sort of be a connection point with these experiences that were people, played and enjoyed when they were younger, and there's a nostalgic effect of it, that always resonates, and and that's sort of been able to keep us going and keeping the interest level going, and hopefully, like I said, we continue the Gold Master series and are able to educate and introduce more and more people to artists and developers and studios that they may not have heard of before, and maybe that sparks interest in them in pursuing game development or something along those lines. So win-win.
Right. And the Gold Master series is like such a cool way to do stuff like that. It's just like it's very reminiscent of like the Criterion collection. And I was thinking about how in a way, like in years or whatever, if this like ever gets re-released like on newer platforms, it could always be like Gold Master series like number 0.
Right.
I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, it's like the template to
very much so. It definitely made it possible for the other stuff to sort of happen, and I hope that while we have a template for what Gold Master Series, what I call Volume 1.0 is, like what is Gold Master Series Volume 2.0 design going to be, right? How do we build upon it, and things like this. So that's kind of exciting to see where that sort of goes. But being able to balance those sort of projects with things like Power Rangers, I think helps to fuel it, because, you can jump back and forth, and teams do that and move from one to the other. And it allows you to come up with even more ideas and interesting perspectives when you do come back to another collection or Gold Master series or something along those lines. Like what ideas can you take? Like what ideas could we take from Power Rangers that really resonated and percolated to the top that are interesting that we can translate to something else, right?
Do you think the next year is going to be even bigger, like more busy than this year? Because I mean, you guys have had like a crazy year.
I think so. I think the next 2 years are going to be a bit busy and stuff, but we're still trying to figure out, all the projects we're working on, and sort of, Coury, like what I talked with you about, it's just like figuring out how do you manage scaling of your studio and people and managing the resources, and you have to kind of do that carefully. So I think that's what we're trying to figure out. But I think next year for us will be another big year, and I'm excited to sort of reveal some of the stuff that we'll be working on once we get past this Power Rangers stuff and Tetris stuff, right, and head into 2025. But I think a lot of people will be surprised. There's definitely some cool stuff happening, yeah, I think across both kind of like collection, Gold Master Series stuff, and original property. So I think we're continuing that trend along those lines as well. So we'll see.
And even just like
3-dimensional.
I ordered the physical of Wizardry. I've not played it. Like it just kind of came out of nowhere, and that was like in early access for a long time. Like it.
Right. Yeah, on PC, and then we kind of finished up, and then we released it on the consoles, and then now, of course, the physical editions are coming out. That's always been a big property in Japan. It was big in Japan. We did some collector's editions and stuff in Japan as well, and soundtrack and stuff like that.
This looks like Iridium, not Atari.
Oh, this is a fan game that we reached out that these guys had done this game that we love so much, and we really want, even though it's not technically a game that Atari kind of did, it is a fan project. It is a fan project that we really liked, and so we wanted to.
Ran on the original hardware.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is it 78? Is it 7800 or 2600?
800, I think it said.
Yeah, it's 800.
Atari 800 computer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh wow.
Yes.
Yeah, like the scrolling looked like it looks very similar to like Iridium 3D or something like that.
The Game Boy Advance game.
Or Iridium.
Who made that? Shinan.
I don't know how you say the name.
Yeah. Who does all these tech demos?
Right.
Like they did a lot of tech demos, and they started making games, and I mean this is really impressive looking. I've never played this.
Yeah.
This is one we saw, and some of the team members, I think it was Jeremy or someone said we should really try to get on. So I reached out to them. I said hey, we'd love to include this game on the collection as a kind of unique experience. And they're like, yeah,
fire to you.
It's cool to see these more simple games getting a lot of recognition now, because I think that people are maybe getting a little sick of really overcomplicated things. Like we were just talking about we trying to become big fans of Vampire Survivors.
Oh right, yes.
And about how it just I saw a posting on Blue Sky the other day. We're saying it might not come off as the best game ever, but what it really does is just tap into that old video game feel of sometimes it's just fun to blow up a lot of people.
It has a great core loop. Right?
Yeah.
The game, and that's the main.
That's the main thing. You can basically.
No.
And that's one of the things I found myself enjoying about Balatro. And
right.
It's just, it's very simple, and you can basically play a whole round in, in 15 minutes if you wanted to.
And I think that got nominated for the Video Game Awards, I think, this year too.
And if it wins, I feel like it won't win, but I feel like it would be deserved if it won. Because it's just
that's very cool.
It's a really neat game, and this is coming from someone who didn't really know how to play poker and learned about different hands and stuff because of that game.
Yeah, and that's great, right? Because you can take that and use it in other stuff.
It teaches you life lessons in a way.
Life lessons. It's funny, actually. Atari 50. One of the things right away that is funny that we got a lot of is Ninja Golf. Right, Ninja Golf was the game that everyone's like, is it gonna have Ninja Golf on early on? Right, it's gonna have Ninja Golf. We're gonna have Ninja Golf on it. But yeah, that was and started getting just messages from Japan about Ninja Golf, and it's so funny.
Ninja Golf, its existence blows my mind, because
it's crazy.
When I first heard of it, I was like, oh, is this like this, a newer fan game, or is it a parody game? It feels like a parody of video game nonsense that would have come about more in like the 2000s or something like that. But it almost feels like
like a show on TV where they're designing a game and they're like, what's the next hit? And it's like, we got to combine like golf and ninja. And that, right?
Or like a fake game that would be on a TV show, right? Like,
right.
Unbelievable to me it exists. It's pretty fun.
This game looks very like it would be very at home on like a phone.
Yes,
you could play this.
Or like would be a great like a 3DS eShop game with if it had 3D effect.
Yeah, I mean, maybe we do a stream sometime where you only play this for 3 hours straight and see how good you get.
That's what you were talking about with California Games on the Links or something.
Yeah, like I would spend like 3 hours and just play the hacky sack game and on
just
California
the
games
sack
for like 3 hours. To see how good I got.
Gosh, that's great.
And I don't know if I could do that.
I don't know. But I don't know if our audience could watch that for that long.
Yeah, it'd be more of a hangout stream, but it would be just to see like how good I get at it, just like playing it for 3 hours straight. Because how many people out there have like really played? What is it called? It's like called it's not called like hacky sack and that.
No, it's
like foot bag or something.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Foot bag. Yeah.
Foot bag.
Foot bag.
Foot bag. That sounds like an HBO TV series or something like that. It's like It's like foot bag. It's like coming to HBO.
Sounds like it would have been, I don't know, like a fake show in Idiocracy.
Yeah, that's true, right? That's true. I probably have to head out in the next few minutes, so if there's any additional questions, stuff, I mean, thank you for obviously having us on here. It was great to hang out with you guys. We always love spending time with you guys. And thanks for
it's been
Power Rangers.
Super fun. Sorry that the Power Rangers was like only accounted for really like an hour of it, but
no, it's cool. That's our thing too, and that's more about for those who came in like just not wanting to spoil stuff for people and things like that. But it was still cool to chat about it and see you guys play it, right? This is our sort of exposure. While we've had people play it, obviously, during development, it's like now it's coming out. We're handing it to the world, right? And we see how people enjoy it and play it. It's always nice to see people's reactions and having fun, right? Because that's the thing that we wanted to, at a minimum, trying to convey that classic like couch co-op arcade experience where people hang out together and just have fun and talk about stuff and just laugh and things like that. So that was our goal, and so hopefully we'll deliver on that.
Yeah, and just like I guess seeing them experience that first person part for the first time, to see the reaction, like that's it's got to be. You feel like, oh, this is why we do this,
right?
Yeah,
it is. It is. Yeah, yeah, and that's the thing with anyone who's in development or does anything creative or anything like that, where your head's down and you're focused. But sometimes you get too close to the project, right?
Absolutely.
And you don't know, right?
Absolutely.
You just don't know.
It's actually good anymore.
And you just like start to question stuff and things like that. And so it's nice when you surface a little bit and get to see people playing it and enjoying themselves. You're like, oh yeah, actually this is not too shabby. And I think what's nice, I had a couple of team members come in yesterday. I think it was on Friday, because we've played Power Rangers a lot, right? As you can imagine, a lot. And they came up and they're like, you know what? It's like we've played this game so much, but we're still enjoying it. Because normally by this time you just be dead like tired of playing it, and stuff like that. But they're more than willing to test stuff and play stuff, and I guess that's a good sign. I'll take that as a good sign that even the team members still enjoy aspects of playing it and aren't bored by it. So that's good.
Yeah. I mean, it's exciting, and there's a lot more surprises for people in later levels. Like my kids just like part of their excitement, I think, was like they were playing this game that not a lot of people have played.
Yes.
Like I had to really drive that home, because that makes me the cool dad in school, right? Like, oh, we played this game, it's like not out yet, and they'll get I don't know, like they thought that was very cool.
Yeah,
and
that's cool.
you know, it just gets me a little more clout with the kids before they don't care anymore. I gotta wrap onto that.
The gaming collection. The gaming collection doesn't give you any clout.
No.
They couldn't care. Yeah, they don't care, right? It's
like when my kids had friends over, this would be like one of the first things they showed, and like the only thing that they really cared about was like my YouTube plaque.
Oh,
it has
right.
like 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
On it. Like that's all they care about. But then
well, they understand that. Like, yeah, they understand that, right? They understand influencers and videos and stuff like that.
I had to do a thing at
I guess she just
my
like,
kid's
has to keep
school
going back and forth.
where it's like you know you just talk about like what you do, and like some of the parents there found out that I did YouTube, and they were like, oh, you got to come in and talk to the kids about it because like
they really click on that one. That one will get their attention.
So I brought that in, and they were like passing around, and like of course they're all like, do you know Mr. Beast? That's like, I mean, that was the number one question.
Yeah.
So
well,
do I know Mr. Beast?
Number 2 question is like, when are you going to come out with your own chocolate bars, right? Or are you going to come
exactly.
out with Coury's chocolates?
You keep saying helping, you're not helping.
I just call it Coury's. Yes. Or like, when are we going to be, you know, eating your Lunchable?
Yeah, your Lunchable, your burgers. Yeah, exactly. It's funny. One of the you know, because Mr. Beast has that burger chain, then one of the virtual or the kitchens is not that far from my house, where you can order. Yeah, exactly. Because they just across the U.S. they just have like you know these kitchens, right? That make this food and stuff like that. You can order and go pick it up at those kitchens, and one of them is actually not that far away from me. It's funny, but anyway.
And you don't go there.
I have never tried that yet, though. I feel I should at some point, but I have not tried a Mr. Beast burger yet.
Yeah, as they have what was it that they said they had in it? It had like charcoal in it or something like that.
Oh, maybe. Who knows? Who knows, right? But anyway, on that note, thank you guys and everyone for having me on and Dan on. Definitely appreciate it. Appreciate what you guys do. Always enjoy watching you guys, and hopefully you had fun. And for everyone,
this was good.
Thanks. And,
yeah. Thank you so much for letting us play and just like talking to us about development. And good luck with the with release date, and then
thank you.
You know, future updates.
Yep, we'll do. Thanks, guys. Take care and have a good rest of your weekend.
You too. Take care.
All right, now that we're gone, let's play the rest of Power Rangers.
So, Jumbo, do you feel like you kind of want to buy this?
Yeah, I need to save Mary.
Why?
I think
Why do
this
they keep
is
dissolving?
like a fan game too.
I don't know.
That's what's kind of cool about this.
Grandma Mary.
Oh!
Wait, where do I take Mary? Hey.
Oh,
Hey!
Yeah, but she's going to die in like 5 seconds. That steel is like about to crush her.
No, they were disappearing over and over.
Oh, Mary!
Mary!
What are you doing down there again?
Well, we got.
What are these?
But that's not going to help Mary.
I don't know. I think you can build something interesting out of that.
What?
Why didn't that work?
I don't know.
I feel like that looks like it should work.
Do I need to have the 2 down first?
Probably.
Like a foundation?
Yeah.
Yeah, but she's standing her ground there in a way that I feel is disadvantageous to her survival.
It's going to be okay.
But I think that this one is is like a fan game too.
It said this was an unreleased prototype.
Oh, okay. Because I know that the last DLC has like, or it might be the first of the 2 DLCs. He had like a lot of like homebrew games, and there's like even like an Adventure 2 and stuff that was officially recognized by Atari.
Whoa! Adventure 2? Excuse me?
Yes, I mean it's on here. So it's
Drums like zoom.
There it is. Oh my
Holy
gosh!
shit.
Look at that dragon about to get that box.
Look at that! Look at that square about to poke that dragon with that arrow.
That's some good box art.
Like the fact that somebody made this, and like that's like I was like, oh, it's kind of like a ballsy thing to try to do, right?
Oh man, it's different.
And
is it? Drum would know.
The original nemesis.
You know, just to have it legitimized by this is kind of cool.
Oh, give it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We're gonna be okay.
So is it the same but different?
It is. The level is very different.
Oh, okay.
I missed you killing the dragon because all I saw was Tri-Butt.
Sorry. I'm trying to change the layout.
Oh, I see.
I need to switch that monitor from Tate.
Well, apparently we need to start at the beginning here with adventure, because you youngins don't know about adventuring.
Hey, who are you calling the youngins?
No, Adventure 2 is a standalone game, but it was started life as a homebrew game, and then Atari like officially recognized it as being Adventure 2.
Hey, you're holding that sword the wrong end, Drum.
It's canonical.
But it's included with the DLC of Atari 50, and also available physically on the expanded edition.
What?
This is Adventure 1.
Why is Coury still? What?
I don't know. Can I go like this?
I thought I fixed it.
Oh, I'm on the wrong side. I'm looking at it now. I'm gonna be over here.
What? Why? What happened?
Is this the you don't know Jack right here?
Oh, there we go. There we go. I fixed Coury.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean it's like we've had guests on the last 2 weeks. I think the next week we might be back to normal. Although I talked to Pandemonium from Pandemonium Reviews every Sega Saturn game, and he says I don't have to work on what is it, like the 15th or something like that, or the 16th. So that might be like our chance to have him on. Oh. Which in that case, it would just be us. It would be a hangout stream, really.
What are you doing with this thing?
We'll see how that goes.
Oh.
You take the bridge and you move it around, and then you can go over the water.
Whoa.
that bridge clearly has a middle.
Yeah. This is like sequence breaking.
Okay.
Wait, is there another sword? No, that's the one you dropped.
One. They got a little turned around here.
See, I switched it to my account, and now Drum's just helping me with my Atari 50 progress. I guess there's really progress to make it. Then I don't. I feel like everything just unlocked. I'm not sure.
Yeah, everything. Oh no, I think there's. He was just saying. Steven said that you have to unlock math.
Oh, okay.
But
math.
Who wants to actually unlock math?
we have to contain math.
Yeah, I mean, I get enough math in life that I don't want to like play it in a game too.
Have you learned new math because of your kids at school? The new way of math.
What's interesting about
is there new math?
They changed math.
That's like
what?
Common Core.
No.
You're just getting that from Incredibles 2, aren't you?
No. It's just a different way of figuring it out, which in my mind is like very similar to, as someone who struggled with math, like it's certain things that I would like tricks that I would use myself, like as a kid. Like, oh, this stuff generally makes sense to me.
Coury thinks I'm good at math because I like talking about like video game resolutions.
Well, you like to talk, yeah, resolution.
And I'm like,
that's
I assume that, and you're like, oh, this is a perfect whatever scale of this amount or whatever. Or, and I don't feel like you need to do it with a calculator. So
I made D- in 11th grade math because my teacher had pity on me.
Wow.
I did much better. I got all A's in college though because I had a teacher I could understand.
It was the opposite for me in college. I did terrible because my my math teachers all had really thick and undecipherable accents.
Well, that was actually my high school experience.
Wow.
Yeah.
Realistic magnetism.
Wow.
Wow.
That's pretty good, actually. Yeah, I think they had very high expectations of what high school students could achieve with math, and yeah, I could not. I couldn't figure it out.
For real though, this chalice and adventure here is, to this day, one of the coolest looking items, MacGuffins in all of video games to me.
It's like got horns.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a precursor to like the Quake symbol.
Anyway,
That it? You beat the game?
Yeah.
Oh, you beat it!
I mean, that was easy. There's harder levels of adventuring.
Oh, is that like the different toggles?
Yeah. Where was the sword before that dragon gets me?
You know, the scan lines don't look bad on the stream here because they're just faint.
They're very faint.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's got a bat.
No, the bat was carrying the dragon.
What?
That's the thing in the first game, too.
Whoa, weird.
Oh, bridge.
Is that like a glitch or something?
No, that's just what the bat does. Oh, God. Oh, God.
That's
Well, where'd the bat go?
No.
Oh,
Oh, he got the bridge!
He ate me.
and that's what
Flew-
that
he
hole
flew
is
away
for.
with the bridge. Yeah, new math. It's got to have. Say new.
New math. I mean, I remember there were definitely times in math, I can't remember specific instances, where eventually, like, it feels like you learned a better way to do it in later grades, and I'm like, why didn't they teach us this in the first place? Are kids allowed to use like calculators like in younger grades now in math class? Like I feel
not
like
until like seventh, but she doesn't even need like a calculator that's like a calculator we have. I don't know if they're allowed to use calculators on their phones or what.
Yeah, but like I feel like it was just like forbidden to use a calculator because it's like, well, you're not always going to have a calculator. You need to learn how to do it, and now you always have a calculator.
Yeah. See, Rooster Blood is asking how the end of the year video is coming along, and it's not doing too bad.
I'm actually I am more or less done with my writing for it, but
so the dragon ate me, and then the bat grabbed the dragon. So now we're just flying over the world together.
wow.
And now you got
And then you
bridge.
got stuck.
Oh. Oop.
That's a good Atari fountain. Look at that. I can tell it's a fountain and everything.
I couldn't.
No.
I mean, it is, right?
Is it?
I don't know.
Like, look, it's like got the center, and then like it's got the water.
I'd believe it.
Like 8x8 pixel water.
What is going on?
But I wonder what people will think about. So we had like one more Factor sponsorship that we had to do this for this month. So we shot like an ad lib video.
I think it's gonna be. It was a lot of fun.
We both did tier rankings of our favorite console designs, like only the designs. I mean,
not
style of it.
Not our favorite. Like, I mean, every single one that is owned.
Yeah, it's 91 systems.
91 systems. Yeah.
And the video, like, maybe is maybe going to be close to 4 hours long.
Oh my god.
But I mean, it was
It's funny because we had like more than half of it, and I was like, "Well, we got about 20 minutes to wrap this up." I was like, let's just stop recording. I'll go get my kids. We'll come back. We'll start recording again. We thought we were gonna rush through and do like the
30 minutes.
like the last 20 minutes, like do what we had left.
And it was
with 20 minutes.
And it took
longer
longer
than
than
taking
the
us
first
like
half.
over two hours to do that last. What we thought we were gonna do in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Oh.
It was a ton of fun though, so I think people will enjoy it just because we had.
I mean, I'll tighten it up a bit, but it's. I mean, we only talk about each system for like 3 minutes.
I mean, it's
maybe.
I feel like we kept a good pace
because we both ranked 91 systems.
Well, we don't rank the ones that we don't have personal in.
Right. Yes. Which is only about like 5 each. So like we both rank over 80 systems.
Yeah. It was pretty fun. I think it'll be good.
Yeah, but it will be close to 4 hours long. I mean, the string out right now without any editing to it is 4 hours and 7 minutes.
I feel though like I'm kind of unsure what I'm going to do with.
Yeah.
What? Oh no! Is this new? Is this unknown territory?
I haven't found a green castle.
The
bat took my bridge. No. Oh, now I have the bat.
Oh
no!
Oh no!
He took my key.
But like so Coury, if you look at the script for the games we played, like I've got something like 5 segments, and like the way I divide it up, like you would have 6 segments, which doesn't. I feel like we're gonna have to talk about the pacing on it, because I feel like I'm gonna have to trim some games down more and combine,
which is like literally what you have to do every year.
Yeah, but I feel like I'll need to combine segments, because like there's no way you're gonna have 6 segments.
No.
So I don't know. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do, but
I mean, the only thing I'm going to be doing for the rest of the year is probably playing Red Dead Redemption 2. I can't imagine getting into anything else or like finishing anything else, because
I mean,
like such a slow moving game that I like am now enjoying just how slow moving it is.
I mean, I hope to finish Dragon Quest 3 soon enough. Hopefully finish Jackie Chan on the Backlog restream tomorrow. We're gonna do the NES. Drum's gonna play the NES game, and I'm gonna hopefully finish the PC Engine one.
Oh, cool.
What is your confidence level of finishing that tomorrow?
With a whole stream, I'd say relatively high, because I'd probably have the time to do at least 3 runs, and I could probably squeeze in a 4th if I had to. But it's just that it's not a short game, and you don't get a lot of chances to screw up, and you have to earn your chances to screw up. So like I'm right there at the end, but it's just a matter of not screwing up.
I see that Madanashi is mentioning that game Infinity Nikki, which I just downloaded yesterday because it's like a free-to-play game. But
it's free.
It's free, but it has like, you can pay money to get like little bits and this and that.
Is it part of is it part of like the Genshin Impact thing or something?
I don't think so. It's like its own series. It's like the 5th game in some series.
I'd just like to point out that I'm holding a bat that is holding a dragon.
Wow, that's you might be the strongest video game character ever.
Really?
Actually, that bat might be stronger than zero of you, come to think of it.
This is like that domino meme where it's like a tiny little domino all the way up to the big domino.
Oh, God, you're
I mean, what is I know that Infinity Nikki is like a lot about like fashion and stuff, but I don't really know how that all plays in like what you have to buy. You buy like outfits or something like that?
I think I'm dead.
Is it something you think that I could try to get my daughter to try out? Like maybe she would be interested in it.
Does that have any relation to the game Love Nikki? Because I used to play that on my phone, and that was about dressing up your character.
Yeah, it might be.
I want to say.
Let me look it up.
I remember looking it up a bit when it was announced.
I mean, it looks really beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like, I mean, that reveal trailer looked like a pretty, I mean, it looked like a pretty high end like UE5 game or something.
Oh, you know what we should do?
It's a sequel to Shining Nikki.
Nothing here.
A sequel to Love Nikki was released in China in August 6, 2019. So yeah, I guess so. Love Nikki is
the Easter egg.
Oh, that's really funny. I didn't know this was a whole series.
The programmer.
I just thought it was a one-off.
There's 5 games in it.
Okay.
Oh, it says it's inspired by Genshin Impact, but surpasses it in many ways.
Ooh. So this is just another phone game, or is it on Steam, or what?
It's on. I think it's on PC and PS5.
Huh.
Oh no, it says Android, iOS, PlayStation 5, and Windows. So it's on. I mean, you could try it on your phone.
It's got a really charming, like, lighthearted style to it. Like, not the kind of game I would expect to be intrigued by, but I'm kind of like, oh, you know.
What game? Infinity Nikki?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, oh, I'm just going to download this.
I didn't know it was free.
I mean, is it on? I mean, is it on PC for you to play?
It's on PC and PS5 and I guess mobile.
Oh, okay.
All right, Drum, let's play dress up together.
Yeah, I want to try it. I downloaded that, and I saw that there was that, like, My First Gran Turismo demo came out, or whatever that's supposed to be. It's like an introduction to Gran
bet
Turismo
if you
games.
pull this off, you're going to give me a trophy.
Oh, I bet I will.
Okay, there's like
the
there's 9 steps here. Okay? I don't know how like rapid fire or.
What game mode do we need?
2 or 3.
Okay. Probably want 2 then.
Get the bridge.
Oh, the best.
Get the bridge, and then find the maze north of the Black Castle. And look for the room that is flickering.
Oh, did I get it? Oh, you stupid bat.
My life and dressing up. I mean, is it? I mean, it. I'll give it a shot. Like, I mean, the graphics look crazy on it. It's like an Unreal Engine 5 game. It just like looked really nice.
So you don't know.
Oh, it's like it has
Adventure 2?
No.
The development team of Infinity Nikki was over 1,000 members, and the game draws inspiration from Zelda Breath of the Wild, with several team members previously contributing to that title.
Whoa.
Wow.
Oh, it's only on the Epic Games Store?
I don't know.
Android reviews are saying it's very glitchy.
Oh, people are saying it's glitchy?
Yeah.
On Android.
On Android, maybe not on PC.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Retrode taught me how to play poker, and now this will up my fashion game.
Yeah, I still.
Merlin, have you guys played Retrode at all?
I have it on my phone.
Yeah, it's super fun on the phone.
Yeah, great phone game.
Yes.
Coury's back of the box quote is, "It's a great game to eat your cereal to."
Yes, I love that. You can play a game when you're eating cereal, for sure. No, it's just one of those games where if you look at it, you think like, oh, I don't even want to try this. Or if somebody tries to tell you about it, you're like, that doesn't really interest me. But as soon as you try it and you kind of understand what it's doing,
Dragon. Oh god,
it becomes, like you just can't stop thinking about it.
you stupid bat.
Yeah, I downloaded it because I've got access to Drum's copy with Google Family Sharing or whatever they call it, but I haven't tried it yet. It doesn't sound that interesting, but everyone seems hooked on it.
It
So
didn't look that interesting with Coury stream.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you got to try it, and it's a lot better than you would think it was going to be. It's a very, very cool game. It's going to be high up on my games I played this year list.
There's a Rocky Horror game?
Yeah, I never even heard about that.
Oh, Vampire Survivors.
No, I mean, I've only recently started getting back into it. Vampire Survivors is very easy to play on the treadmill.
Nothing in the Yellow Castle. What's the point? I guess you could like drop items and hide them in there if you wanted.
If I wasn't traveling tomorrow, I would try out Infinity Nikki tomorrow. But I gotta go to Rochester. Of all places.
I mean, I'd say we try it right now if it wouldn't take probably too long to download.
Yeah.
I've lost the bridge in the maze here.
I feel like it was like towards the left side.
Like the flashing makes it look like a horror game, like there's something really bad happening.
I mean, Whew. Why did I want the bridge? Oh, you
gotta get north of you gotta get the bridge and then go take it north of the Black Castle.
So we need to open the Black Castle.
We need to open the Black Castle.
Well,
I told you about this.
That is a different order of operations, Try.
Well, blame IGN, not me.
So for anyone who didn't hear, we were trying to do one of, if not the first Easter eggs in video games.
It's popularly
the
referred to as the first.
I don't know that it actually is, but
I mean that's like the whole basis for Ready Player One.
Oh really? I haven't seen it.
It's because it's like that. Like that's like the whole climax. Because they weren't allowed to put their names in the game, and he
right.
Oh. Everything about this flashy part is bad.
Man, that Indiana Jones game is getting great reviews.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. I guess it's a lot more like it has big areas, but like not overwhelmingly like huge. It's not like an open world, but
yeah, I mean, John told
very
me it's like
Hitman-esque and that you don't have to like kill people.
Right. I mean, John told me it's like big Hitman levels.
Yeah. Where, you're not encouraged to just go in and blast everybody.
Right.
Yeah. Infinity Nikki came out on my birthday, apparently.
Oh, the bad.
You should definitely
dead dragon around
get it.
now.
Speaking of birthdays, I'm forcing my family to play couch co-op the Coury with me for my birthday.
Nice.
they
so you
do not
told
want
them
to play games with me ever.
You were pondering this on a stream, so you've actually like.
Oh, I've proposed it to them, and they're like, "What?" That's what I'm doing for my birthday.
When's your birthday?
The day after Christmas.
Oh, that sucks.
No, he likes it.
No, you really?
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Oh, I hate having a birthday in December. It just like melds with Christmas.
Basically, I mean that's true. Like all of December, it feels that way. But what I liked about it is always I knew I had the day off of school.
Oh, there's that.
And I was able to use it to like ask for bigger things. I guess bigger gifts. Like, can I combine my birthday and Christmas to get this big thing? So that's, I don't know. It's one thing, but I feel like since my kids have gotten a little bit older, there's like zero special feeling to birthdays ever. So that's why I'm going to force them to.
Force them to get eaten by werewolves.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine it's going to think there's anything.
It could be anything.
So intense to like scare them, but I think that it will be very funny, especially my wife who's like does not play games ever. But it might
like
be really
it'll be interesting to see like if she struggles with, just like controlling like the characters, I mean, is pretty. There might be like options where you can like simplify the QTEs to like just be one button or something like that. Because she's not gonna know like the PlayStation buttons and stuff like that.
Right.
But
I'm hoping that
you can you should boot it. You should boot it up and like look at like what kind of options are there just to like make it go a little more smoothly.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Yes, I'll do that. But I think that, maybe she'll get invested in it, like after you're playing it for a long time, you might get invested in it, even if you have no interest.
I mean, it's a story. I mean, does she like horror movies at all?
It depends. I think that
I wonder if the random game would be better.
Would like something like that.
I mean, I guess we could get lucky in the random game.
Is my birthday Coury getting streamed? No, I'm not going to stream that. I won't.
Coury.
the Coury, yes.
Yes.
No. I will not stream that because
there you go.
I don't know. Like, I just don't want my family to feel that kind of pressure.
You should record it though.
I'll definitely shoot a little video during it because, if we play through the whole thing, I'll talk about it in the year-end video.
Yeah.
But honestly, so you're downloading Infinity Nikki? I thought you were saying you should download that because you've been playing it. I thought you were suggesting it because you'd already become addicted to it.
So is the layout the same, but just the item positions different?
Right. Oh,
that luck don't last.
Nope.
I can't overemphasize how frightened I was of these dragons as a child.
I mean, it's kind of scary looking. I will say.
More or less than Cookie Monster in the Cookie Monster game?
More.
Really?
More.
Cookie Monster's pretty dang scary when he gets you.
He is, but the dragons, you just never know when they're going to pop up.
Oh.
Cookie Monster. Predictable monster.
He's always there on the other side of the fence looking at you. Looking at you, looking at his cookies.
like Laurie Strode looking out the window and Michael Myers just standing at the edge of the school.
Give me the... No. No.
I don't think we're going to get this Easter egg.
No.
Have you done it before?
Oh, are you trying to get the Easter egg?
Yeah, we're trying. He already beat the game.
Stupid
The
bat.
bat took my sword. Yeah.
Yeah, take that.
Have you ever gotten the Easter egg?
No. I've never even tried to get it before.
It seems potentially a little difficult. I mean, have you not put much time into game 2 and 3?
I mean, as a kid, I did, but
you only really remember 1.
Yeah. There's just nothing. Oh, I need the bridge to go through there.
Saw some other people talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. I did not like it for a long time. It just like moves very, very slowly. There's a lot of controls in it. And I don't know, there's a point where I'm like, oh, like this is like really nice to just do a couple missions a day. And apparently I put like 30 some hours into it, and my story progress is like 44%.
Did you read that? Like, I don't know if it was like a series of interviews. I feel like it was like one interview, like released in multiple, over the course of several weeks. Like there's been like Sean Layden, the former like PlayStation boss, like has kind of been giving like there there's been a bunch of interviews with him. I think from Eurogamer maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Have you read any of it?
No. Did he talk about
it's
that?
Pretty
game?
interesting. I mean, he's got. I mean, since he's like not in charge of PlayStation anymore, he can be pretty frank, right?
Yeah.
Everyone liked him more than Jim Ryan, certainly. So it's been interesting, but he was talking about how the big problem is the console market isn't expanding because kids just want to play Fortnite and Roblox and they're forever games and they don't care what platform they're playing it on. It doesn't they have no reason to be attached to PlayStation specifically or Xbox specifically. They might just play on their computer because they have a computer. They don't care. And so he was saying a lot of the console market is it's older people, and the thing is he said, we kind of got to back away from these massive games because the audience, the older audience that's playing on consoles, we don't. What made me think of it was, he would say it was I've never opened up Red Dead Redemption 2 because I know I just don't have 100 hours.
Yes.
And he said, so that's the problem. We've got to end this obsession with all these games being so long.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, 100-hour game is cool every once in a while if it really earns it,
Yeah.
Well, this really feels like it does.
Yeah.
In a way.
Adventure, yeah.
Do you think you put 100 hours into Adventure in your life, Drum?
No.
I wouldn't think so.
Well, what I think is cool about it, though, is that it really encourages you to make your own story. Well, you'll just be walking and something will happen. And maybe a mission will start when you go into a building. And
Oh my God.
See, Adventure had all the elements way back then, Red Dead's just basically Adventure 2.
Well, yeah. I mean, all of them are. But, you just walk around and things happen. And it's very much like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom in that way. Except for, a lot of stuff is missable.
Oh, really?
So it's not like you can go back and do all the stuff that you missed.
Another dragon?
That stuff is just in the story, and if you miss it, then you just miss it. There was a bit where I chose not to go fishing with some guy, and then he just died in the story.
Oh.
You can't go back and replay the missions or whatever because you missed that,
Wow.
Did he die because you didn't go fishing with him?
I don't think so. It would have given him, more context, you'd probably feel more sad that he was dead,
Yeah.
But there's just surprise events, as Jasmine is saying, there's so many surprise events in the game where, I don't know, I was just riding out of town, and there was some guy is just out of nowhere. It's just on a horse. He's like, somebody help me. I've been shot, and you need to take me to a doctor. So I had to get him on my horse. I take him in the doctor, and he sits down, and the doctor's like, this is just you could walk out, right? You could just ignore him. And he's like, oh, this is looking bad. I'm going to have to amputate this. And he's the guy's like, what? And he gives him morphine, and you could sit there and watch him amputate his arm.
Oh my God.
But he's saying you don't have to stay here if you don't want to.
But did you?
But you can.
But I wanted to see if it would just the event would continue to go
right,
on.
I could see the doctor would just be going through his tools or something.
No,
forever.
Yeah,
cuts it off.
right?
He takes his arm and drops it in a bucket.
Oh my God.
And he's sitting there, and he's just he's gonna be all right, but
See, that was I was telling you about the Satellaview Zelda, right?
Yeah.
Earlier, and like that's actually like modern open world games. Like I don't know if what you're talking about was truly like a random event. Like when I think of random events, like I think of like the few hours I played of Spider-Man on PS4, which I never finished, and like it was like, oh no, there's a bank robbery going on, and and then
but those never stop.
Yeah, and then like it's like, oh no, there's a bank robbery going on again. But like the idea behind that kind of stuff is like, ooh, you never know what's going to happen. And it's like, yeah, but it's a boring thing that happens. Like, who cares?
Yeah, because it's just that one thing, I feel like this happens, and I might never run into something like this happening.
Right. But anyway, like I normally don't like how those are implemented in open world games, but like the Zelda Satellaview games like made me think of those like random open world events, except like I liked it. Like I liked how like it kind of felt like you just didn't know what was coming next, and it also it wasn't really intentional. I think like the fact that because we do dual streams all the time is just part of what we do, but like I didn't really think at the time about how that like kind of replicated like the communal experience that people in Japan had when they were actually playing these during the original broadcasts, right? And like that sense of like, oh, like here's all these people like working together toward the same goal. Okay,
so I need the bridge.
You need the bridge.
I haven't.
You have to get into the maze in the flickering room.
Shoot.
Bridge in the flickering room.
I need the sword. There's another dragon.
Yeah, I'm going to gush a bit about Satellaview Zelda. There were a number, like looking at the stream archives, and taking stock of what I played this year. That's like there were many things. We kind of played a lot of things this year that were like not really my backlog, but were quite interesting anyway. Okay, so once you bring the bridge to the flickering maze, use the bridge to get access to the chamber in the bottom/middle of the room. And then go to the lower right corner of the small chamber and you'll pick up a single pixel. Then there's several more steps.
Jeez.
What is that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely a fan of like shorter arcade length games too, but
it's the mag.
It's kind of nice when you commit to playing a long game like this, and you're just like, I'm going to just like exist in this world.
Soak it in, yeah.
Yeah. And it might take you 2 months though. That's like the downfall, I guess.
I mean, that's kind of, I kind of wrote about it in the games we played. Like, I was writing about Walkabout Mini Golf. And I was saying, like, how I really liked the golf ball hunting aspect of it. Like, where there's, like, a hidden ball in each, like, in the surroundings of each hole. And, like, I just liked that it encouraged me to... I liked that it encouraged me to, like, just, like, exist in that world in VR, right? Like,
Okay.
Middle of the flickering room, you use the bridge to get access to the chamber in the bottom/middle of the room. Go to the lower right corner of the small chamber and you'll pick up a single pixel.
The middle of the flickering room?
That's what is it? Oh, is it that like to the left? Is it that? Like up there? Yeah, I bet it's that. No.
No. Is there only one flickering room?
I don't.
This is another one.
Single pixel.
all the magnets in here? Oh no.
Oh, there's a dead dragon down there.
I wonder if I should find a different guide.
Oh, read it again. What part of the flickering room?
Well, by the way, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but it says the flicker is due to the extra item hidden in the room. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
I mean, sure.
Does it only flicker if there's 2 items in a room or something
it's
like that?
right here. This didn't flicker before, but I got all these items in here.
Right. So I guess it's flickering because there's an extra item, maybe. But it says, in the flickering maze, use the bridge to get access to the chamber in the bottom/middle of the room. Bottom/middle.
I need to find this magnet. It's really messing with my bridge here. There it is.
Whoa.
That thing. Oh, it's a magnet.
All right. This magnet is a troublemaker.
I like how you're making this like Sweet Home / Resident Evil 0-esque like just like stuff room. Okay, bottom middle. I guess
Bottom middle.
I didn't read that part.
Bottom middle.
It said pick up a single pixel in the lower right corner of the small chamber. Like it's not clear to me if the single pixel is actually in the flickering room or if it's a room you gain access to.
I mean,
through.
It is an extra item making the room flicker, so it has to be in the flickering room.
Yeah, I guess so.
But there's not.
That's not it right there.
Right it's not that little.
Look
there's
up
like a
video
flickering
of it?
space there. No. Let me look for another guide.
We could be playing Infinity Nikki right now.
It's true.
Wow. Here it is on Atari.com.
Oh.
But does it actually tell you how to do it? I don't think so. Everything's like the true story behind. And it's like, okay, but how?
They gotta give you the whole backstory.
Did they say it is the first Easter egg, or?
I don't know. I'm trying to get you information here.
Donashivi's playing it. Makes me feel like he could have already downloaded and be playing it. What do you guys playing tomorrow?
I'm going to look at a video.
I'll walk through the Easter egg in adventure for the Atari.
What are you guys streaming tomorrow?
Jackie Chan.
Oh, that's right. Well, I'm not going to bring any video game console with me on this trip, and then planning only to work on my end of the year script.
Okay, I'm looking at the flickering room. Is it the room you're in?
This one could just be flickering because of the dragon being here.
Yeah, I don't think this is the one.
Oh, there's a flicker.
Yeah.
Is it down here? I got it.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Got it.
You got it. Okay.
Oh, you get it?
Yes. All right.
Oh, there it is.
Let me go back to the IGN guide. Okay. Single pixel.
There it is. Now where do you take it? Maybe you should make a save state.
Can you?
You should be able to.
Okay. Carry the pixel to the room just above the catacombs.
Oh, what?
Can't you tell?
Question.
Located exactly one screen down and one screen right from the yellow castle.
What? Oh, those catacombs. Okay. out of the dot room.
It says, note, the pixel will be invisible unless you rub along a southern border.
Okay.
There's $5 from Matthew.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you. Matthew's always
even
full
if
of
Hot
them
Shots Golf-
emotes.
Yeah, even if Hot Shots Golf never officially returns, I'll play him till I die. Just bought World Invitational PS3, the Japanese version, for $15 on eBay.
Ooh.
I don't have a Vita. No, it's I bought that. I got it for $2 recently, but it does not have an English language option in it. I was hoping it was going to have English if you put it into it. If you played it on a U.S. system.
Okay.
But it is not.
Okay.
I got the best version.
One screen down and one screen right from the yellow castle.
Right.
Okay, so you're here.
Yeah.
Okay, it says, drop the pixel in this room with a barrier on the right side. Is there a barrier on the right side?
Yeah. Kind of most.
Oh, see, I never played the mini golf
Drop
mode
the
in
pixel
the
in this room
original
with a
Hot
barrier
Shots
on the
Golf.
right side. Retrieve 2 more keys, or retrieve 2 more objects, key, sword, and chalice, and drop them in the room. Once there are 3 objects in the room, including the pixel, you can walk through the rightmost wall to view the Easter egg.
Oh, okay.
Hot Shots Golf, I can't remember if it was like a PS3 one or PS4. It was either PS3 or PS4 when Audie was here last, I think. Or yeah, I think it was probably earlier this year. He bought one of those, and we booted it up, and it kind of made me want to. For some reason, I've never bought a console Hot Shots Golf.
Oh.
Never.
So did you? Have you
No,
now?
but it kind of makes me want to get one.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
I
first one has
say
a
that.
mini
I say I
golf
never.
mode,
I say I never got one. I mean, I have the PSVR game.
Yeah.
It's not
But that
that
doesn't really
great.
count.
It's not that great though.
Yeah. I never got the VR version of that, or I mean, I never played it. I have it, but the swing away golf.
The new one on the Quest.
Yeah.
I bought it and I played a little bit of it. I mean, it certainly seems a lot better than the PSVR game.
Yeah.
I mean, mostly due to your control options, if nothing else.
Yeah.
But I have not played that much of it.
Okay, so I don't take it with me. I just walk through the wall.
Key, sword, chalice.
I need.
You need a key.
Okay.
Is that a problem?
I need a key. No, I know where a key is.
Once.
He's got a key. You need a key? I can get you a key.
Oh no!
No, I'm not. No, he can stay in the castle. I'm not messing with him. I know where another key is.
What if he invades the room?
That would be a problem. More games need a bat that can just take shit away from you and fly off.
Do they?
Don't they?
Do they?
But they come back later.
Here's the key.
Think about it.
I feel like getting this Easter egg is going to be like the best way to end this stream possible.
If it ever happens.
It sounds
If
like
it
it's
ever
about to
happens, I
happen.
mean, it feels like
It's about to
it's
happen.
not going to happen, but I have faith now. If this is the last piece,
Supposedly you can go through the wall. Is the pixel in here? Where's the pixel? Where's the pixel?
I just picked it up and put it down.
Okay. Drop them in the room. Once the 3 objects are in the room, including the pixel, you can walk through the rightmost wall to view the Easter egg.
Wait, 3 including the pixel?
Including, yeah, 3 objects in the room, including the pixel.
I have 4.
Should you put one of them in a different room?
Yeah, what do you got to take out of there?
Why did it say? Oh! I misread. Okay, so I guess you only want 2 objects for some reason.
2.
It was just suggesting key, sword, and chalice, like as possible items.
I still can't go through. Are we sure this is just the first room in the catacomb?
I mean, that sounds right.
So like yellow castle, down 1, right 1. Oh, is it this room?
Oh, it's probably this room.
Oh, I gotta find the
pixel.
Gotta find the pixel.
Okay, you don't need to get another item though, other than the pixel. Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh no. Oh, there it is.
Yay!
You get it? Wait. Or you find the pixel.
Oh gosh.
Did you put?
Oh, the dragon. The dragon's in here.
I can't move the dragon.
Well, take one of the other items away.
Okay, maybe a dragon counts as an item.
Yeah! It worked? It did work.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Can I go up? Oh.
Ooh.
I bet so few people have done that with a dead dragon's corpse.
That's cool. There it is, like the first one, right?
There it is.
The first
You've done
one.
And Robinette?
Robinette.
Yep. That was a funky font.
You know, sometimes you make a letter any way you can.
Sometimes Atari don't make things easy on you. Alrighty.
I feel like that's a really good way. It's a good screen to leave the end of the stream on.
Yeah, well thank you for taking command on Atari for his job.
Sure.
Yeah, for real.
Happy to.
Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks Drummond Lynn for playing Power Rangers with us.
Sure.
Hopefully we can finish that sometime soonish on a backloggery stream.
It should be no problem. It probably only take a...
Yeah, I mean, we could probably even restart if we really want to.
I would rather restart it because I didn't get to hear any of the audio or anything.
Oh, yeah.
Or read the text.
Yeah. So we can probably soak it in a little more. I mean, I think it's probably something we can easily beat in a stream anyway, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, we'll do that sometime.
Thanks to everybody who donated tonight, and I hope everyone has a great week.
Good night. See you next week.
Good night.